I'm Shane.
And I'm Bo.
We are your Kentucky Fried Critics.
We got one more for you.
That's right. This is episode 40.
I know. 10 more. We're going to do 50.
Yeah.
We got to do something.
We'll do something, and then like we said, we're going to take a break.
Yeah, we're gonna
Maybe just a week, guys, but we need at least one. Try to get caught up. Try to figure out some tricks. Maybe we'll use that down week to be able to like meet up just to try to play some stuff out and try some tricks. Cool. Yeah. So again, guys, don't be alarmed. As you can tell by this point, we are very dedicated.
Yeah, we're dedicated. We're here to stay until y'all run us off.
But we wanna hone our skill. And to be able to do that, we kind of need extra time.
We need extra time because we have regular people jobs too.
Yeah. We have a lot of things, family for me. We've got things in our lives that take up our lives.
Yep.
This is a side project, but we would like it to get more involved. And so we need to find the time to do some of this stuff somewhere.
We're after
50.
Our 50 celebration.
And whatever we decide to do. So again, start thinking, people. If you want to leave us suggestions on something, a movie. Again, maybe that's what we'll do for the 50. Instead of like it being something that has to match up.
Yeah.
Like maybe we just let the fans. We'll make a post announcement about it when we do after we drop this episode. So when you're hearing this,
can we do like a poll? Give them like 3?
Yeah. We can definitely drop a poll so we can pick. Me and you can come up with a list of ones and be like, look, guys, for 50, doesn't matter. We'll find
a drink.
The drink doesn't have to match. We'll drink something. We'll find something that's a good celebration thing, and then we'll drink it and
watch this movie. Yeah. I like that. That's what we're doing.
All right. Confirmed. So that'll be big 50. 10 away.
10 more. Start the countdown.
All right.
Where can they tell us where to send those suggestions?
Well, that's exactly what I was just about to say. We'll go ahead and get into the socials, but you did have an excellent segue. That was great. Always thinking. Always on your toes. I like it.
I try. I'm trying to get better at this.
All right. So, again, we always start you off with the meta, the 3, because they're connected. I mean, why would we scatter all that around?
Yeah, you got to umbrella all those.
Yeah, just do those together, and it gets them all out of the way, especially since for us, on at least those platforms, it is the same.
It's the same.
So, again, if you're going to find us on any of the meta, so that's Facebook, Instagram, Threads, I posted there twice. I've still not been steady. Exists. I'm trying to get better. I am getting better because 2 times in the past 6 months is a lot better than the 0 times in the last 6 months.
Still probably more than a lot of people.
So I'm trying. I am getting there. But so to find us on all of those, it's just going to be Kentucky Fried Critics. No spacing, no capitalization, no underscores, no hyphens, no anything special. Just that.
We'll get to the hyphens.
It'll be a / or an @ depending on which one of those you're on. Yeah. You'll figure it out. Look at somebody else's name. See what it has.
If it has one of those symbols, try going with that.
Use that one.
It's the best way to go about it. A little deductive reasoning.
That's right. Goes a long way. The next one is YouTube. Again, you guys know, used to be our least favorite.
Now it's our favorite.
Well, I'm putting extra work in. Again, I'm working on getting us to a video. But until then, you might have noticed we've been upping it. We've been making a video itself is not just the cartoony picture. It's been us. Yeah. I'm just trying to step up YouTube for what I can until we have an actual video there.
Yeah, because you can't have the same shit all the time. You got to do different things or people get bored.
That's right. So I've been trying to change it up. And so hopefully you guys have noticed the fresh new changes we've had going.
Yeah, tell us what you think.
Again, at YouTube, you'll find us. That's going to be youtube.com/@KFC
home of the Riddick Rat.
That's right. Before we forget our glorious Riddick Rat.
Our glorious Riddick Rat.
Got to give him his props.
He's so cuddly and cute. Or vicious and evil. I haven't decided yet.
Yeah, we either need to expand the lore ourselves or get someone else to help us expand the lore. But there needs to be lore expansion.
I'm waiting for more artwork to come in so I can be inspired.
After YouTube, we'll go to the website. That's our hub. That's where you can find everything I just mentioned.
And in case you weren't paying attention until right now.
It is at shows.acast.com/Kentucky-Fried-Critics.
Woo, my hyphens.
That's right. That's the one. Bo, again, he has at this point has almost completely cleared himself. So we had the cult problem before.
Yeah.
Then we had his weird addiction. Then we had the dance problem.
Thanks for pulling me out of that van.
Yeah.
They were gonna take me somewhere. I don't know what was going on.
It's all clearing up at this point. I think the Riddick rat has helped pull you away from this.
It's very therapeutic. A cuddly little rat friend. You should all get one.
Then that leaves our last one. That's just our email again. As you were saying, if people want to leave us any kind of thing, if people want to give us suggestions for what we might put on our poll, again, the poll will probably be on Instagram and Facebook because they have options and
so you
and ways to just do that.
Click that and shit.
But if people want to give us maybe things that they might want us to include on our list, because we'll come up with the list that we give you guys to choose from. But if you want to give us some things that we might put on the list, feel free, drop those there.
Yeah, we'd love to hear about them.
That's right. That's gonna be the best place to do it.
You all get to vote, so you might even get to watch the one you wanted.
That's right. This is the way to make it happen for sure. It's the way to guarantee, the closest way you'll ever get to guaranteeing that we're gonna do something you suggest.
Right. So you and all your friends need to like gather up and be like, no, we're voting for this one. Right. This is the one we want them to do.
On that note, we are officially done with our socials, so we will get into everything today. This is our second week of going straight booze. Last week we were doing some fancy booze.
Fancy booze. We some Courvoisier.
This week, as you guys already saw from our post on social media, is not fancy.
Fuck no, it's not. I'm reluctant to even call it whiskey.
I know it says that on the bottle, and don't come at us, guys. We did get the actual whiskey one.
Yeah, we didn't go.
We know that Fireball does get sold in like the weird cocktailish version too, but this is the actual. We got the actual whiskey.
And I still can't call it that.
It's candy.
It's candy. Candy. It tastes good. It's like,
but it's
tamales.
Not. Yeah, but
Red Hots.
Red Hots, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Red Hots. Atomic Fireball. Maybe not quite the hot level on the Atomic Fireball. Like it's still hot cinnamon, but it's not
the first 3 chews of Big Red, and then it goes to nothing.
Yeah. So this is by no means our favorite. I drink a lot of bourbon. I drink a lot of whiskey.
Yeah.
This is not the kind of thing I go for. I'm not a flavored whiskey kind of person. If I want something flavor with my whiskey, I'll make a cocktail.
Yeah,
I'll make an old fashioned. I'll make a whiskey sour. I'm not trying to have a whiskey that's pre-made with something like that, with a flavor like this. I'm not a frat boy. I'm not in college.
I'm not either.
So this isn't one of those things that I've had lots of drinking on.
Something we would have drank in high school, though.
Oh, this is the kind of thing that if it existed when we were younger, it would have been drank a lot for
everywhere.
Sure. As I told you while we were talking about doing this one, I used to get 100 proof cinnamon schnapps, and
yeah, that's probably cheaper and better. At least it's 100 proof, right?
So yeah, we've said everything but the name, but I think everybody knows when we kept saying cinnamon.
Yeah, it's Fireball.
Fireball whiskey. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't.
You said Fireball earlier.
Did I?
Yeah.
I hope so.
I'm pretty sure
I said
did.
Atomic Fireball for candy. I don't know if I said. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out in the edit.
It'll be fixed. We need to keep moving. We can't worry about it at this point. It will work itself out.
Yeah.
What movie though? That's maybe the surprise here for people. Again, this is a booze that lots of people have drank.
Yeah.
This is not a surprise. We're not hitting you with groundbreaking information about what it tastes like.
Yeah, it's not some hidden gem or anything like that.
But what movie? Do you want to tell them? Should I? This was my pick. It
was your pick. You do it.
This is Wilder Napalm. And I will be shocked if people get this. Like, I can't wait to see the social media response for the clue.
I expect a lot of Firestarter.
I do too. I expect a lot of people when we make the announcement of what movie it is, of being... This is going to be one of those hidden gems. This is going to be one of those people who are going to be like, that was a fever dream. I don't even barely remember.
I vaguely recall that movie when I was high in college.
It wasn't like a giant critically acclaimed. It wasn't, it was pretty low on the review poll and everything like
really?
that. As far as I think so.
Siskel and Ebert didn't think it was just funny.
It's like a 5.5 stars on IMDb.
I don't agree.
Well, in all fairness, Back to the Beach is 5.1, so obviously we don't agree with this.
We're like terrible critics, though. That's why we don't get paid for it.
That's why I started shifting into saying that we were doing commentaries, not reviews. We're just telling you. We're just talking.
Yeah, we're just talking about it. It's not really a
Sometimes
review.
It's the movie. Sometimes it's what the movie makes us think about. We're just talking to you about the movie. It's like you're watching the movie with us, even though we don't have it playing. That's what's going on here.
That's the format of the show. I like that. It's like you guys are here with us in spirit, talking about this movie, drinking this whiskey.
Yeah.
Could you hear my
air quotes for sure. All right. On that note, let's just go ahead and roll into some of this information. Like I said, I don't know how many people will know this movie, so we'll hit.
It's got a pretty star-studded cast.
It's got some big people. So we'll start off with Wilder himself. Again, this is something I'm glad that we're doing this so we can go ahead and set up for people, because I don't know if you noticed, but in the movie they don't tell us this character's name for a long time. You're just kind of like, what? Who? He's obviously our main character, but what do I call him?
Yeah, it's not till he like gets home.
Well, after he gets home, it's a couple minutes after he gets home. Before, we're getting ahead of ourselves. But so I'm glad that we can just tell people right away that Wilder is indeed a character in the movie. The napalm part we'll get to way.
Yeah, we'll get there in a minute.
But Wilder is indeed his name. Wilder is played by Arliss Howard. It's a name that a lot of you guys might not be familiar with. I'll forgive you if you're not. But I love him. He is in a lot of things. He looks a little bit like Kevin Spacey.
He really does.
Depending on the era you're seeing him and Kevin Spacey, for sure.
Yeah, they could be brothers.
But one thing that this is a nice throwback for us is he was Scott Smalls all grown up. In the Sandlot.
In the Sandlot, our very first episode.
He was the old dude in the hat.
In the hat, and he's calling Benny's game.
Yeah, this Arliss Howard.
Hell
guys.
Yeah.
Nice, great Arliss Howard.
Nice callback to our first episode.
We'll go ahead and mention that along with him in this movie is Debra Winger. She plays Vida. That's his wife in the movie.
Such a weird name.
It is. But I loved hearing it. You know what I mean? Like when you first heard it, you were like, what is this? But by the time at the end of the movie, you're just kind of like, yeah, all right, that sounds good. I like that.
Her name fits. Weird name for a weird lady.
Yeah. So Debra Winger is also Arliss Howard's real wife. Fun fact.
Yeah. Oh, they met on this.
They met on this. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. They met. They met filming this,
shit like that.
and then they stayed together. Now this is the real kicker. While I found this piece of information out about them, I did learn one I didn't know. That was a total shock to me. I did know they were married. I didn't know that they met on the set of this movie particularly. But I did not know that they had a son together, and his name is Gideon Babe Ruth Howard. Because he was in the Sandlot.
In the Sandlot.
Babe Ruth. Or maybe he just likes Babe Ruth. But either way, I love the fact that this is the guy.
It's got to be both, right? He likes Babe Ruth and he knows
in that fun connection. Yeah. Well, because again, if he's just a fan and he got to be in that movie, it's still all connected. So I love that his son's name, their son's name is Babe. They call him that. That's his family nickname is Babe.
It's awesome. It has to be. Can't call him Ruth.
So also in this movie, though, we have Dennis Quaid,
of course,
which is awesome,
right?
Playing Wallace,
mad Dennis Quaid.
Oh,
he is
100%
crazy,
angry,
insane, 100%. Angry,
almost the whole time,
barely repressing it. Right?
He's teetering on the edge of complete.
He's the Joker right before his one bad day.
And then we've got a few fun characters in this movie played by a couple of people. Well, actually, I don't even know if I can say there's two. There's two for sure I would say that we can mention. Other than that, that's it.
Yeah, that's
really
it.
You see some other people, but it's a hardcore focus on mainly those three, right? Like it is a dynamic about their weird relationship they've got going on. So it's not really a relationship comedy, but it kind of is. It's not a rom-com. I want to make that clear. It's a relationship comedy, right? Like there's not really romance in
this.
There's
a relationship in this, but
there are relationship problem, much like how High Fidelity.
Yeah. Only not as dramatic.
It's not that dramatic. Yeah, exactly. This one stays, despite dealing with some heavy, heady shit for a minute, stays pretty tame and is way more on the comedy. There's not a lot.
Most of the dramatic shit
is played up for the comedy.
Ends on a joke.
Yeah. So it is, but you know what I mean. Like it is kind of in that vein of So the other people that I want to mention are going to be Jim Varney.
Yay!
We got Ernest, another throwback for us. Another
good episode we've done.
Go back, check that out. Ernest Scared Stupid. It was a Halloween special.
Did a whole month of them. Go watch all of them. You don't have to wait for Halloween.
That's right.
Things.
But yeah, he plays Rex. He's like the lead carny.
Yeah, the lead carny.
I love, and don't come at us. I understand carny is technically like an offensive term, but that's literally in the movie. That's what they use.
No, it's not an offensive term if you are a carny.
You say that, but how many carnies do you know personally?
I was a wrestler for a little while. I know a few.
Again, I'm just trying to cover ourselves. I don't know if it is or isn't. I'm just making sure people understand we're using it because that is clearly what they say in the movie. It's
one of those is like, we can say it, you can't.
They clearly said it in the movie. They clearly are just referring to each other as carnies constantly. They're telling each other carny jokes. Yep. Again, although that again makes me feel like this is a thing we're not supposed to, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't
they're
feel
allowed.
Like I'm not allowed to say it.
They're allowed to tell jokes because they're carny. So I don't know. I'm just trying to cover ourselves. I'm trying to be that guy. I'm trying to look out for us.
Right. Call the legal department. Can we talk about this? You know, like, should we cut this?
So then the only other person that I want to mention right now for sure is Emmett Walsh. He's the fire chief. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Again, it's one of those people I don't blame if you don't know him by name. I wouldn't either. I can't even right now off the top of my head tell you the things I know him from, but I know
one.
There,
he's the guy who's after Christopher Lloyd in Camp Nowhere. He's the agent. The agent in the. I'm T.R. Polk. Yeah. I got a flawless, perfect record, and I aims to retire that.
Is that
way.
A gremlin out in your barn?
Yeah.
I know the guy you're talking about. Yeah. You're right, though.
That is the exact guy.
He is one of those guys.
He's one of those guys.
He's in a lot of things. You'll see his face, you'll hear his voice, and you'll be like,
"Oh, I know him from." You'll probably
blank,
movie.
just like
yeah.
You'll blank for 5 minutes, and then it'll come to you. You'll just be like epiphany. Oh,
that movie. I love that movie, and then you'll have to go watch it.
Yep. But those are the only people I'll mention. Like we've got no. I mean, this is like we said, there's some big people. But they're in those few roles. This isn't like a lot of like supporting characters or anything like that.
Probably do this as a stage play.
You could 100% do this as a stage play. Again, there is also. We'll go ahead and spoil the surprise. There's also a lot of singing. This is not a musical. It's not a hidden musical. This is not like Back to the Beach. This is not that type of thing. But
the firemen like to sing.
There are firemen in the movie.
And they do like quartet music and shit.
I guess maybe it's like what they do on the offside. So just every time we see them when they're just hanging out,
it's like the guys on Rocky who hang out by the barrel and sing on the street. That's just what they do while they're fighting fires, and they sound fantastic.
So we get some people like that, which again, like you said, for a stage play, that would be
it would be perfect. That'd be.
Or if you just have these like that's when you're swapping out the set.
Yes.
Between scenes, they're singing.
Yes. So Broadway. I got a job for you.
I was about to say, do we need to copyright this idea?
I think we should. Maybe we should cut that whole segment. Don't listen.
Start talking to people about Wilder Napalm, the movie or the play. Excuse me, Wilder Napalm, the musical.
That's musical. There we go.
Yeah. So we can move forward knowing that we're not trying to leave anybody out. We will come back to the people singing. We'll do it, but we're going to do this just like the movie did because you get
it kind of comes out of nowhere. You're like, oh,
well, that and like as far as like who the quartet is, like you know, like there's no introduction in the beginning because they want to surprise you that there are singing people, so you don't get to see any kind of like name of the group. Literally as soon as the credits start because they're singing, they give us a big. So we'll wait. We'll tell you that just like the movie did at the end. We'll be like, in case you want to look up this quartet that you've heard us talk so much about. There you are.
At the very least, just go look up the segments from this movie.
Certainly.
Of them singing.
Yeah, I'm sure you can find that. Yeah, I'm sure you could find that on YouTube real easy. Just go. Yeah. Search it if you want to. Guys.
Yeah, it's good. It's worth it. They do great renditions of like Duke of Earl.
All right. On that note, we're not giving anything away. Again, this is a super old movie. I think we can go ahead and say, and it is in the opening shot that we see that there's some kind of power going on, right?
Some kind of fire.
So we'll go ahead and just mention this. The reason we're fireballing it up is because this is pyrokinetic movie. Right?
Yeah.
Like these.
I described it in my notes as Firestarter, but wacky.
Yeah, well, that's the movie for sure. But yeah, I mean, like the power. They're
they're
both pyrokinetic.
Mind fire.
Yeah, pyrokinetic.
Is that the term
I think
for
so.
it? Pyrokinetic?
Well, yeah. Telekinetic is when you can move things with your mind. So making fire with your mind.
That makes sense.
I'm just trying. These are Latin things.
We got to make it sound smart.
Yeah, so this is a 100% a movie that's dealing with some crazy stuff. There's lots of fires. Trigger warning: if you got some problems with fires,
Right.
It's maybe not the one to watch for you. Again, this is a comedy. This isn't like Backdraft. I'm not saying you're going to get scared, but there are fires.
But there's
if you visually have a problem with fires, some of them in the movie are super fake FX. Some of them are very real
very
looking.
good looking effects.
Well, some of them are just real.
Yeah,
too.
some of them they just lit that guy on fire.
They do just set some things on fire for the movie, for sure. Vehicles, a couple of...
they burned down a whole house. That was pretty
cool. A whole carnival?
Oh, yeah, they do.
We need to bury the lead on that one. We need to stop ourselves. Yeah, the movie is not afraid of fire. That's for sure what I want to make sure we get at before we start.
They go full on.
But so we'll go ahead and just move into it. The movie opens with a cold opener, right?
Yeah.
Of the carnival. We don't know anything that's going on yet.
Nope, just a nice carnival. Well, not nice, but a carnival.
Well, we don't know it's not a nice. Just until way later.
Everybody, kids running around having fun, eating popcorn, and we cut down to like
there's nice carnival music playing in the back. You guys know me, I got television music, but it's not big yet. It's not important yet. Just some carnival. Generic.
And we get a clown sitting in his lawn chair smoking a cigarette, and the
snake lady. For lack of a better one for her.
She's like reading the like how to impress people on TV guide or something.
I don't know.
Or like how to impress David Letterman.
It's how to impress people like celebrities.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, but it was all tips for how you.
Frank Zappa says acknowledge the posse.
Not Frank.
Or was it not
Dweezil?
Is it Dweezil?
This is why I was so excited. I have my notes right here that I get to squeak to you about Dweezil because it's Dweezil Zappa, like we had mentioned before. For what was that? Spirit of 76. Yeah, the Zappa kid.
The Zappa kid.
Yeah, he was specifically talking about one of the Zappa kids, Dweezil. I was like, what a great fucking name drop in the middle of this 90s.
That's a cool name too, Dweezil.
Yeah, his other son is Ahmet.
Ahmet Dweezil.
Ahmet and Dweezil. No, that's two different kids. Ahmet and Dweezil, and then the daughter was Moon.
You can turn that
Moon something.
You could somehow turn that into an Abbott Costello bit.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying. He had some weird names for his kids. I loved all of his kids' names, but that's neither here nor there. While we're seeing the clown and her talk about the way. Well, it's not even he's not talking, right?
No,
it's just her.
She's
just
smoking.
telling him these things, and he's just like uninterested.
Yeah, just
right?
kind of like whatever.
But we see him
finger gun.
She says she's complaining about the mosquito. She's like, "It's a damn mosquito, keep holding me alone." Yeah. And then he's like, "Okay,
I got this."
And he makes a finger gun, and we see him, pow, and it explodes midair.
Little spark. Dead mosquito.
No more mosquito. And
she
then
she kind of freaks. I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Well, she freaks out, but you can tell she doesn't freak out like she was surprised. She freaks out like, "Don't do that.
Do that.
Public.
Somebody
People
might see you do it, dude."
Yeah.
And then we get Ernest.
Yeah, Jim Varney
he
rolls
up
in. Rex. He's Rex. He's
our hillbilly.
I don't know if he owns
operator.
The carnival because later on he talks about he talks about selling the equipment. So maybe he's the owner. I don't really know. But this is a traveling carnival / circus. I say this because we do at some point in the movie see animals.
Yeah, there's elephants and shit.
Right, and clowns. He's a clown.
Yeah, he's a clown.
So it's not quite just. Like traveling carnivals usually don't have the clowns. It's usually just the rides
and the games and shit.
So this is definitely like a circus, despite the fact we never see more than the fact that there is the clown, snake lady, and a random elephant.
It's very low.
We don't see a tent where we can see that they're putting a show on.
It's just trailers that they just roll up.
So you get what I mean? Like that it's like there's a weird plot hole here.
The cheapest fucking circus ever.
Of where somebody was like, they're a circus, but then they only bought carnival props, right? Like they didn't understand the difference between the two.
Really heavily on that clown and snake lady
to carry the fact that and the elephant for the 5 seconds that it's there.
It's a very talented elephant.
It did its job. It did well. I mean, I can't complain about what it did. But yeah, so Jim Varney shows up and he pulls out superhero suit.
I like
for lack of a better way to
That's
call
what
this
it looks
thing.
like. I like the suit. It looks cool.
And this sets up for us one of two things, and we've already told you he's evil in the movie.
He's evil.
So normally I would tell you it's setting up superhero, supervillain, but obviously I think
he's gonna be supervillain.
Yeah, he's supervillain. He's our bad guy.
This is our proto Joker.
Yeah,
just not quite yet.
And then Rex also drops the name for us, right?
Yeah.
Well, again, if you didn't know, just seeing the outfit, again, red highlights, already going to be bad guy most likely.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then he also gives us the name, and the name 100% locks in. If you didn't know villain hero, what it is, tell us the name.
Dr. Napalm.
There ain't no hero with a name like Dr. Napalm.
There's no hero with Dr. anything, is there?
Oh no, there's Dr. Midnight. Then there's Dr. Strange, and then there's Dr. There's a bunch of doctors.
I made a dumb statement.
We'll cut that out. Nobody will hear that one. You're good. Don't worry. I got your back on that one. Shane, make sure you cut that.
As soon as I said it, I was like, I am probably very wrong about that.
Yeah, there's plenty of it. But again, the napalm is what I'm getting at. Usually napalm is not a name you associate with good guy.
No.
Right? It's got bad associations.
Every time I hear it, all I think is, I love the smell of napalm.
I was about to say, when you say napalm, most people are like, nah.
Yep.
So
that's bad.
Yeah. And again, we weren't really using it politely. We were like, by standard war conventions of today.
Oh, we still use it.
Well, no, we do. But the conventions on which we are allowed to use it are different because of some of the times we used it.
Yeah, that's true.
We were told, hey,
can't do that. And we're like,
too far.
Yeah.
So again, like I said, napalm, it's got some negative connotations to it.
So it's definitely a villain name.
Definitely a villain name. But Rex also lets us see he's got 2 spare fire suits for the assistants. Whoever that ends up being. We see all the carnies kind of fight over this. Mainly him and the snake lady.
Yeah, she's like,
but you kind of see in the background a couple of people being like
starting to walk up, like, hey, what about me?
I thought I was gonna be.
Right?
I'm friends with Biff, and we hear them say that, right?
Right.
We don't know yet. We've already told you his real name is Wallace, but for the movie plays it like we told you how you don't find out Wilder's name for a long time. For a long time, you will think his name is Biff.
But that's only when he's in makeup.
That's his clown name.
That's his clown name.
But again, the movie doesn't set that up for you for a while.
No, it's like 20 minutes.
You would think I would not blame you for thinking his name was Biff. It's that long
Biff
before they tell you.
It's pretty good.
It is I like that name. But we also, again, I mean, this any movie that comes out after Back to the Future automatically makes it to where Biff can be a human name too, not automatically a clown made up fake name. You know what I mean? Like, so this movie existed at a time where they should have known better. They should have known that we all would have assumed his real name was Biff.
Should have went with Boff. That's your clown name.
It would have been Boffo.
Boffo the clown.
Would have been perfect.
Really would have. It's funnier.
While they're arguing over this, we see a kid walks up with a cap gun, right? Puts it right in his face, pulls the trigger.
Ernest jumped. Did you see him? He's
and Snake Lady, they're both looking at this kid like worried, right? Which really sets up for us how much of a villain this guy is. Because we know he's got this power. And he points his finger. Well, he points his finger at the kid. And they are genuine.
Snake Lady is like, don't.
Genuinely worried about whether he's going to do this or not.
He doesn't. He doesn't burn the kid.
But it's set up.
I would have popped all of his caps in his gun, though.
Something. But he definitely. Well, remember, we set up a here soon. Well, we won't go into it yet. But there's a reason why he doesn't.
Yeah, there's a reason why he doesn't do it.
But yeah, mainly this cold open is just to set up for us.
Hey, evil clown.
yeah. The fact that he is definitely the kind of guy that would do that.
Ends with him laughing maniacally.
Yeah, and then that's the end of our cold open. And then we get the weirdest title card sequence, right? It's all old sunspot footage.
Yeah,
but from I'm not talking like good. Like this looks like
now. Like this is from
like the 1950s through an actual telescope, not through like a good thing.
Up to
it. This is really cheap looking stuff.
It's like the first time we got this footage.
It's literally the whole open, right? It's
with just the title cards.
Title cards and credits with this, and then the music is just again back to 1950s. It sounds like you're watching like a Buck Rogers episode, right? Like it's that kind of 1950s like thriller-esque music. Like it's got the weird like piano build-up moments.
Whoever did the music for this like really liked that like
that era. That it's got a lot of that vibe. Now's a point where I do want to, since we were mentioning that, we skimmed over while we were talking about who's in the movie, the fact that this movie was written by, it's the first time he wrote the screenplay, Vince Gilligan, who is the same guy who he wrote for many seasons of The X-Files. He co-created the spin-off of The X-Files, The Lone Gunman. He also, many of you guys probably know him as the creator of Breaking Bad. And therefore its spin-off series, Better Call Saul. So we got a little bit of some nice heritage to this.
Some good lineage.
And maybe he's the reason we got some cool soundtrack. Maybe he's the one who wanted the firemen to sing.
Like, probably.
We'd have to do some research into finding this out. But yeah, that was what I say. It's got a vibe very much like how Breaking Bad. You know, like the songs fit very much. Seeing like the hat on top of you got the vibe that I'm getting.
What's his Heisenberg?
Yeah, hat. Heisenberg when he's wearing the hat and he's got his head tilted down just a little bit. It gives that kind of vibe, right? Hearing this like this 50s-esque music and stuff.
It really does.
So maybe that's his input. That's why I was glad we got to somewhere that was a good flowing spot to mention him again.
This was actually before X-Files, wasn't it?
This is 93. This is like pre a bunch of
this is like his first shit.
Yeah, it's one of the first things.
Hell yeah.
This is a way back for him. This is us giving a call out where he went.
Fantastic job.
Yeah. And again, this is one of those things I forgot to mention while we were talking earlier. I did pick this movie. This is one of those movies, you guys know me, I saw when I was a child.
Wee lad.
It wasn't 93. I wasn't 9 years old.
Yeah, it wasn't that little.
But I was probably 12 or 13. So, I mean, we're not talking like drastically off from when this movie came out, like 3 years, 4 years.
I'd only ever heard of it. Probably from you.
And then it's good though.
Is. It's really good.
That was just for me and you. I'll cut that because that's going to be for the end. But yeah. All right. But yeah, we don't need to go into the open. I mean, not the open, but the credits roll anymore or whatever.
It was just weird that it was old Sunflare footage.
Yeah, the whole time. That's all we get. And
they really want to drive home the fire.
It ends with Wilder Napalm.
Almost Jurassic
Again,
Park
still having no context as a moviegoer why
what the
that's
fuck is happening.
The name of the movie.
I was sitting here watching it, never seen it before, being like, all right.
And I didn't tell you either. You were still just being like, why?
I was like, all you told me was like people throw fireballs.
Yeah, and so you're like, I get where napalm comes from. You're like,
yeah, what's Wilder about it?
What's that? What's Wilder? You're like, that's not a word.
I kept thinking like Van Wilder.
You're like, that's not a word. It would be more wild.
Right. And then we had the scene with the clown. I'm like, so it's a movie about like an evil clown that summons fire? Like, what is this?
You're like, is this a sequel to Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
What's that would be cool. More evil, more killer clowns from outer space.
All right. Yeah, so once the title cards are finally over, we get to actually see our main character. I say see to you because, again, like I said, we aren't necessarily introduced to him.
No,
we don't find out his name. We just see what he's up to.
He works at a photo booth.
Yeah, one of those old school, like in the middle of a parking lot.
Yeah, like at a strip mall.
It's big enough for a person to sit inside. He probably still doesn't develop it. He mails. It was essentially a booth where you said, "I don't want to mail this. You mail it for me."
And then they will bring it back to your booth, and I can come pick it up later.
Right? Like, it's such a weird concept. It slowly died out. A lot of people would tell you. Yeah, well, people would tell two things. People originally would tell you, like, if you were to ask a lot of people, they'd be like, "Oh, digital did not kill this out." Walmart and then Rite Aids and Walgreens,
where you could just
all of those places
print your own fucking film.
They just also took over. You could go there to do the same thing as what this booth did. And the thing about most of the places is, they were shopping centers, and so this guy had to use like a Rite Aid's bathroom anyway, right? Because he was in the middle of a shopping center where a Rite Aid might be. So then Rite Aid was like, why don't we just put that booth in our store and stop letting that guy...
Stop having it.
Like, then we can just have one person
out there in the snow.
Well, but essentially they cut a job away though, because it's not like they said we'll hire that guy. They were just like, we'll let our people do that in between.
This and screw that guy.
You see it in this movie. Did it ever look like he had anything to do?
No, he is in an empty.
So you see how obviously the people who
I don't even think the other businesses behind him are open.
No, well, you see how obviously then it means that people who own like a pharmacy or something could be like, yeah, we could do that on top of the other stuff. Like, he does 5 minutes of that a week. Our guy can handle 5 minutes of that for a week.
We can mail your film off for you.
Yeah, and so that's really what the downfall of these little booths was when like other businesses were like, well, fuck, our guy can do that. He can handle mailing something.
Right. We don't even have to hire another guy. We just give another guy another task.
And so then if you could all of a sudden take care of your random pharmacy stuff and do that, you had no reason to go out of your way to stop at the booth in the middle of the other parking lot.
Nope. Then they got knocked down and turned into like topiaries.
Yeah, you can't even see these little buildings anymore.
Should have kept a couple of them because this one's kind of cool. It looks like a camera.
Yeah, well, give me a second. I got the name of it. The Photo Quick. Yeah. It is dope. It's a little yellow. It's like it's somewhere between camera and camera roll all at the same time, right?
Yeah.
It definitely, from one angle, looks kind of like
like a disposable camera.
Yeah. But then from another angle, it kind of looks like a box that you would get a roll of film in. Yeah. It's nice. It's a neat little thing.
Depends on what side you're looking at.
Yeah. So not only are we zooming in on this, we see that our main character works here. He is the one doing that menial, crazy, stupid job we were just telling you about. He sits here 9 to 5, and they're setting up for us just how much of a strict by the book kind of guy he is, right? He's in the middle of the Midlothian. Did you see that? What a word. I heard her. The woman announces it.
Midlothian?
When it's clothing. Yeah, when it's closing, she goes, the Midlothian Plaza is closing now. It is 5 o'clock. And she said that, and you instantly see him pull up his watch. He looks down at it. 3 minutes early.
Yep. Still time.
Or no, 5 seconds? I don't remember.
There was only a few seconds. He watches it count down to it.
But it was early, and he was just like,
nope. Still not time. Going to stay here till it says 5 o'clock.
So they're clearly wanting us to see he's a very by the books kind of guy.
Even when he leaves, he's very stiff.
Oh, he's a super stiff guy. The whole time we see him, he's walking down the train tracks like he's a fun kid. Again, we'll see this a lot. We'll bring this up a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of these weird moments where we see all of these characters with very childish.
Yeah, they're very childrenish.
Yeah, in their demeanor. So we see him like practically skipping down the train tracks, but he still looks stiff as a board,
right?
The whole time, he's doing kid-like things,
trying to be he's
relaxed,
but he's
not. Like he's trying to force himself, but it's not there.
Yeah, it's not working.
And again, that's not even there's 100% the character too. Like that, I'll give Arliss Howard. Like that's great. Like the further right now, you wouldn't maybe know that. You might be like, it's a weird acting choice,
right?
Once you know the character, you're like, no, that
totally
fits him. That makes sense for this guy. He's got
to maintain that discipline.
Yeah, no matter what,
all times.
And so it's one of those things that comes back, and it'll keep coming back to it. But yeah, so we see him. He's skipping down the thing.
He's picking flowers.
We almost forgot to mention he also had his Firefighters magazine with him. He had it in the photo booth. That's what he did to keep himself entertained. You can see him. The main reason I mention it now is, like I said, he's skipping down the train tracks, and he's holding it against him the same way a kid would a comic book.
Right.
And he's picking the flowers, so he looks like this little kid going home to mom. Right.
He does. I didn't even pick up on that.
Like I said, there's lots of it, dude.
Lots of childlike
antics. They really drive home this weird childlike influence.
These fucking people never grew up.
I'm telling you, dude, for sure. He starts doing weird poses as he's walking. Right?
They're so awkward looking, though.
Again, he's trying to be he's trying to reach for this kid.
Yeah, I used to be so much fun.
He gets home. When he gets to the yard, we see a sign. Please,
please throw
paper past this point.
Sign.
Yeah, and then
it's right.
We get no explanation
right
why
up next to it.
Yeah, and then he walks past this old jalopy.
tries to start it.
Doesn't start. You clearly setting up for us.
You can tell that that's just like an everyday thing.
That's what he does. Hoping it's just randomly going to start.
Me too, man.
Today's the day.
It'll do it.
Today's the day. I'm going to get it.
You just got to catch it on a good day.
Then we pan to the roof. The roof of all places, right?
Yep.
And we see ankle monitor. First thing we see.
Big giant 90s ankle monitor.
This is not even 90s. This thing looks like it's supposed to be from the future. This thing is it's totally seamless, right? It looks like it's 90s version of future tech is what this is. This is in no way.
It would not be out of place on Star Trek.
Yeah, this is in no way what they actually used in the 90s. This is just so fucking crazy looking to me. But yeah, so she's wearing the ankle monitor. Clearly now explains to us why there's the sign about the paper. It's to make sure she doesn't set it off while she picks up the newspaper every day. So we're like,
and the paper boy's an asshole. He puts it right outside.
Yeah, it was. Well, and I don't understand. Does she shoot the arrow at the paper boy?
I don't know where because he pulls it out of the
on
tree.
His way in, he grabs an arrow, and again, just like everything else we see him do, it's like it's every day.
Yeah,
you're like he did it just like he started the jalopy. It was just like everyday occurrence. Do her and the paperboy have it out for each other? Maybe
they have some serious
because
beef.
We never go back to this arrow. We never see anything about it.
I could believe it from her. She fucking shoots arrows at the fucking paperboy.
We don't know enough about her yet, but she is definitely that kind of crazy. But yeah, so she's on the roof. She's reading some Stephen Hawking's.
Yep.
Vida. We hear.
Yeah, Vida.
He yells to her because he's trying to figure out where she's at. She comes running. They don't let us see how this works. Again, this is a trailer. This is not a house.
Yeah,
this is a tiny little trailer,
like 50s style trailer.
Get back to the 50s. And so she climbs down from the roof, and we get to see the calendar, the makeshift calendar on the fridge, counting down the days until Vida. It's on. Yeah, it's on the calendar.
Vida's house arrest.
It's done. Yeah, and it's almost over.
She's got 3
days left. And as soon as she gets into her husband, I mean, we barely get dialogue. She is just on his bones, man. She is ready to jump fuck
right now.
And she wants to fuck here, there, everywhere, except for a bed. And the only place he wants to do it, because again, like we said, he's a very by the books.
Yep, by the books.
So obviously the only place, he even keeps telling her, we have a bedroom.
He's like, yeah, but we can put the leaf in the table. He's like, I don't know where it is.
No, that was the funny part. Like, she's trying to even, like, find the thing that's least risky, right?
Yeah.
And so she's like, kitchen table. And he was even like for it until he goes, but not without the leaf. Do you know where the leaf is? Like, that was the thing. He's like, if I can't make it long enough to be safe for us, we can't do it there.
Like, there's not enough room.
It's so funny. And then finally, after they go through this conversation over and over, he's just like, oh, why don't we? At this point, I'm just exhausted, and I kind of just want to.
Yeah, I'm nostalgic for the bed.
Yeah. Oh, what a line! I'm nostalgic for the bed. And so then we see them go to the room, and we assume then he gets his way, right? We assume that's going to be nice vanilla sex.
Yep, just going to wake up in the morning in bed.
No, we get a nice transition in the morning.
We're close.
We don't need to keep this. I just want to ask you: did you watch this on your TV or just your phone?
On my TV.
When they did the transition in the morning, when it was supposed to be the time lapse, did it flicker?
It flickered a lot.
Okay, dude. It was like, I was like, man, I'm glad I don't have epilepsy.
The like sunlight in the window, strobe affected all.
Right. I was like, I'm glad I don't have epilepsy.
Yeah. Okay. So be careful on that one.
Yeah, it was intense. I was not ready for it. And it never happens again. It was literally whatever effect they tried to do there didn't work out right. But yeah, so it's time lapse. We get to see that morning. We see literally like the shadows moving across the room as the day is going on. But we see the bed is empty. Until
but we get to see everything else. Like there's clothes and condoms and stuff, but no people. Where'd they go? The bed is like perfectly made.
And then out of nowhere,
whoosh, right from
Arliss Howard. Again, we'll keep calling him Arliss Howard now.
We don't know his name
because technically, for the movie's sake, they've not told us.
Nope, have not told us his name.
You guys know, and we know that we could say it, but we're just
we know that they know.
Yeah, this is just fun for us to try to keep continuity this way, okay, guys? So don't judge us.
Play along.
That's right.
Just enjoy the ride.
But so Arliss Howard comes crashing down first, and then on top of him falls Vida
and shit. They were up
on the those
awning?
canopies?
Yeah, like a canopy bed.
Thing? Yeah, they were on the canopy.
There's no way.
All night long.
There's no way.
And it just magically finally gave through right now. I mean, it's morning.
They were just laying there. You're gonna tell me it held up to the sex?
I don't know. It was
this
crazy.
was a bed sheet on poles. There's no fucking way.
She then starts making him breakfast.
Some sunny side up eggs with the smiley face.
Total, Atomic Family, American Housewife. He's
doing the crossword puzzle.
It's the eggs and the bacon smiley face. Perfect picturesque breakfast.
My only problem with that is I only get one piece of bacon.
Yeah, that's what I say that every time I see that. I'm like, that's not correct because that's not enough.
There better be like more bacon.
Yeah. Exactly. Like that better just be because that's how you want the picture to look, but then you're going to bring me a plate of bacon.
With the rest of the bacon?
Yeah, like that's just so that way, like I can serve myself what more I need.
Yeah, I get, fine. It's cute. You made me a smiley face. Where's the rest of the bacon?
Now's when we start to notice, and I'll go ahead and point it out, Vida will be in green. Lots of green.
For the rest of the movie.
Technically, a lot of this shade of green, this weird light green, it's her preferred color of green.
It's kind of a lime green almost.
It's almost light. It's like a sherbet. I don't know. There's no reason.
All you color experts, let us know.
But it's a weird light
we know tattoo artists. They can probably tell us.
It's definitely a weird light shade of green. But she is in green most of the movie. We'll address the changeover when it changes and what that might mean later, but just be ready. You're not gonna be crazy if you start to think to yourself, is that the same outfit? It probably isn't.
No, but it looks like it.
But it will look like it.
Call her the Mad Green Lady.
She's definitely so much fucking green, dude. There's so much green. Every time you see her, there's too much green.
She's the Mad Hatter's niece. That's what I've decided.
One thing we forgot to mention while they were getting frisky with each other, she starts to touch his hair.
Oh yeah, and he's like, "No, leave it." He's got a pear piece.
Yeah, bad burns.
Bad burns.
All over the
top of his head.
Again, you only see it for a split second because then he does talk her into like
she's into it.
Yeah, he wakes up with it off, but then instantly,
right back on.
They also get kinky with
the paint. What was that shit?
I think it was supposed to be like crafting glue. Crafting glue.
Hey, you're not supposed to eat that.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was going to say. It looked like crafting glue, but she eats it. So I don't know what it is. We're past that now. We're in the next morning. We don't need to focus.
I thought it was gross. I was like,
it is gross.
Don't eat that off.
That's why I went back to bring it up. But I'm just saying we don't need to focus on it. I just want to talk about the weirdness of it.
She's a weird lady.
She is. She's a very weird lady. She stays weird the whole time. Then we see a conversation with him though over breakfast where she pretty much just is like, I don't understand why you won't show off your power. Because the night before we're bad at this today, dude. We totally forgot to mention before they were, or is it right now?
Is this where he lights
it's right now. He lights her cigarette right now, right?
It
wasn't the night before.
No, it's right now.
Yeah. So we see while they're having breakfast, he lights her cigarette for her. She's like,
do it, come on,
do it.
And he's like, he didn't want to at first because he's like, I might burn you.
So now we find out that he's got the same powers. So again, like the movie starts.
There's two of them.
Yeah, the movie starts, and you might, especially once he pulls the thing off, you might think maybe he's someone who's been assaulted.
Yeah, like
by Dr. Napalm.
Dr. Napalm already got to him, and he's like going to be the superhero, right? Like I seriously thought this was going to be like a superhero movie.
Yeah, but so we find out that he's got the power to this amazing gift, and that's what she keeps telling him. She's like, I can't believe you got this amazing gift, and you won't do more with it.
We could be rich.
You could be a god.
They would worship you as a Mayan god. I was like, that's a little extreme.
Well, she also makes a Nazi reference. The weird thing she called him.
Gruppenführer?
Yeah.
That was a little weird.
Yeah, I was like,
we don't like those words.
I was like, lady, you're hitting a lot of uncomfortable. I don't want to be
the Gruppenführer. I never.
You're hitting a lot of uncomfortable things.
Even if I was king of the world, I would not refer to myself as that.
She starts playing the cello, and he gets ready for work, and then he heads out, and she had to have dropped this cello mid fucking note because you hear it play and then you see her at door. It's so quick.
If I were to catch the house on fire,
no. She says something like, she just says, if I were to call you in the middle of the day, would you come home? And he says, not even if the house was on fire. And you're like,
kind
what?
Of a dick thing to say.
No, it's all dick. And she still acts like everything's good. And I'm like, what kind of relationship do they have? He
acts totally disinterested the entire time.
She wants to have sex and he has no interest in that.
I gotta go to work.
But you can tell he cares for her because he picked the flowers.
Yeah.
He took the time. I don't understand this dynamic.
Emotionally repressed where he can't even show it to her, I guess.
These two have such a weird dynamic, though.
A therapist would have a field day with these two.
But then when Wilder makes it to... Well, not Wilder yet.
Arliss.
Right? Or no, I think he might finally...
Oh, she
dropped it at some point during that. Yeah. Now. So we can go ahead and drop our little cover here. Wilder makes it to work.
Yep,
right?
Back in his little booth.
Whole world gets disrupted, though.
All these goddamn trucks start rolling in with all this circus
the ground is shaking. It's like an earthquake, too, in his little tiny photo booth.
And he doesn't really...
They circle around like a wagon train.
He doesn't even get a lot of time to process any of it because as soon as they start showing up and he's
they're
around,
instant, dude. They hop out of these vehicles like...
They start getting ready to go.
You'd think the door is still open when one of them jumps out of the vehicle.
They didn't even turn it off, right? He just let it roll. It's stop.
It's insane how quickly they start, which I guess you'd have to do,
you would, just to
make sure, you're rolling from town to town.
You got to get it up in a timely
Time
fashion.
Is money. Gotta get it done.
Gotta get the show going so we can get some of these fucking marks in here.
Yeah, so they instantly plug into one pole.
Fucking pole.
So they're running the entire carnival off of one outlet. This is totally insane. I can't even fathom how insane this is.
But like he gets he doesn't even get to do anything because he gets the page from the fire department and has to go home because she lit the yard on fucking fire.
Yeah. Well, as they were setting up, though, I want to point out he makes eyes with those two nasty carnies.
Yeah.
I only point this out.
Spit the gum.
Dude. I was like, there was a reason I want to bring this up. Yeah.
I hated it.
He eyeballs these two carnies, and I guess one of them's supposed to be the alpha between the two of them. Because again, they're not the leader.
He's the one that's
Varney's the leader, but he's got to be the dominant of these two, right? Something. But so he locks eyes with them for a second, and then in a show of dominance, he looks over at his buddy and spits his gum into his mouth. And I was like, that's not dominance. I don't know what this is, but that was messed up.
That was gross.
And that's the exact look that Wilder gives him. He's just like, am I supposed to be intimidated by this? Because I find this disturbing.
Yeah. Then he gets the page.
Yeah, then he gets the page. Fire department, they're on their way.
They just roll up and pick him up.
Like nothing. It's so funny.
The most just roll through the parking lot.
Because they don't have a working vehicle. The only vehicle they have is the jalopy that's not running. That's why we always see him walking the train tracks and stuff.
He walks so funny. Even he will not run. He never runs. He just walks in a quick, brisk fashion, and then hops on the fire truck.
As the fire truck rolls away, we zoom into Biff in his trailer,
looking through the window slats. Like,
Now he didn't see Wilder yet.
Did he not? I thought he did.
The way the fire truck pulled out, there's no way he could have.
That's fair.
If they wanted us to think he had, they filmed that really wrong. They did not do a good job. Because the angles on it don't line up to where he could have seen. Yeah, because you don't see him
peek through the thing until the fire truck's going.
Yeah. So if they wanted us to know that he had already seen him, they did that bad. And I don't think so. I think later, when he comes out, we don't know.
Yeah.
But I think when he first comes out in full clown regalia is when he realizes
that's who
that,
it is.
Yeah, his brother is here. Yeah, so give me 1 second. But the main reason I bring up Biff in his trailer, though, is not to talk about if he saw Wilder. It's to talk about what he does in the trailer, which is he pulls out that half-burnt picture of Vida on the wedding day.
Yeah.
Right? Just her in the wedding dress. We can't see.
Can't see who's been burnt out of it.
So right now they're leaving it up to us to
Vida.
Were they married first? Or what's going on? Who was in the picture?
What's going on here?
Yeah, so we don't know. But now we do know that at least they all know each other.
Yep.
This is our first clue that to us that it's not just a coincidence these two people have magic fire.
They might know each other.
That they probably know each other, so there might be something there. But yeah, then we see that Wilder rides out with the fire truck to his own house
Vida set the yard on fire to make him come home.
Well, to prove a point, he was wrong.
He was.
A fire was the one thing she knew would bring him home.
Yep.
And indeed, it did.
She fucking lit it on fire with one of her cigarettes.
Well, and he sees the cigarette. He does. And he hides it quick. And then she tells the fire chief.
I don't know, man.
I had this
and I had a
drinking glass on the roof, and I guess the sun must have caught it just right, and it focused its rays, sir,
right onto the grass,
and it must have just combusted.
I don't know what else to tell you.
Second time in 6 months, Vida.
You seem to have bad luck with fire. Yeah, it's a good thing I'm married to a fireman, isn't it?
Works out really well, huh?
He's like, yeah, it does. I love the way he talks.
Yeah, the really. He like almost eats his words. Right?
Yeah, it does.
Definitely helps us understand why she probably likes Wilder, because it's a combo, right? Like, she's a pyro, he can set fires, but he's also a firefighter, so he can keep them safe.
Yep. He's like, oh, good, we're not gonna like kill anybody.
As far as we need to know right now, that's what it is too, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, we find out there's more to this relationship later, but as far as we know right now, it's literally that. It's just like this perfect combo for her.
She's a pyromaniac, and
he can both start fires and put them out. Perfect combo. She even tells him, "It's not my fault, honey. It's a boredom-induced incident.
I got bored, so I started a fire. You know how this works."
If we don't understand that she's a pyromaniac.
That statement.
Yeah. And if you didn't, again, we still haven't been clearly told why she's under house arrest. But obviously, between the fire today, the 2 other times before today, and the way the fire chief talks to everybody.
We can assume it's arson.
We definitely know it's got something to do with fire.
Something to do with fire?
There's a fire involved in that history somewhere.
She went around burning nuns. I don't think you'd get house arrest for that.
You'd get more.
At least a week in jail.
Then as he's riding off on the back of the fire truck, this is the crazy part about Vida. She is so nuts that even though he is clearly upset that she did this, pissed. She's still smiling. She's like, so happy about all of it.
Oh, I want you to bring the helmet and boots home when you...
He rides away clearly upset. Right. And she's just like...
Yeah, bye.
And again, it doesn't help that all of the people that he works with in the fire station love her.
Absolutely love her.
He's trying to be mad, and she's smile waving, and they're all smiling, waving back to her. Yeah, doesn't help anything at all. No, right?
These fuckers aren't helping me at all.
Right, that's exactly what it is. And then he rides back in style. Right, they're all in their street clothes. Him and the other 2 guys on the back of the truck, and I was like,
just hops off.
I don't think that's how that works.
No,
right? Like just in your street clothes, and they're like dropping you off like a bus at a bus stop. Dude, there's your stop.
No, pretty sure.
But it was
not
dope as shit.
Dude, that's how they should do it. Like, yo, just take me home.
It gave him quite the entrance.
It really did.
Like, if only there was someone there to actually see it. I guess this time the Carnies were there.
Yeah, they were there.
But they don't like him, so it doesn't count.
Weren't really paying attention. They're still setting up and everything.
We see this crazy, they zoom in on the electrical this time.
That is not safe.
We knew they hooked into it, right? But we didn't get to see how bad it was yet.
This is not safe. It is like it's like 9 of those extender, like 3-way splitters stacked on each other, and then everything plugged into the side.
And so again,
then it's plugged into the jank freaking plug on the pole.
Well, and some of the things plugged into the sides are other extension cords, because as they zoom out, you see like lines and lines of more orange extensions.
There's more splitters, and it's splits upon splits.
So this is, again, we're coming from children of electricians.
Super not
insane.
Safe.
This is insane.
No wonder
they would have blown up with the kind of shit they were trying to draw.
Somebody's getting electrocuted, let alone just blow the fuse.
Because think about how much power the things they're running. You know, like we're not talking
the Ferris wheel is plugged into this thing.
We're not talking that they're running a television here.
No. We're running giant equipment on this
We're running like triple the amount of power the building behind them needed, right? Jesus Christ.
Just for the lights and shit on the fucking rides.
But so Wilder gets back. He sees this. He steps over all the damn orange cables in his way so he can get back to his booth. He's trying to put it out of his mind.
It's like, just whatever. Let it there. It's a circus.
It's a really hot day, and he just got out of a fiery situation. Yeah. So he's trying to cool off.
Turn his air conditioner on.
This air conditioner that's been built into this building since the 70s and never replaced. He's lucky it turned on to start with. But he turns it on, and of course,
trips the breaker.
This is the one step too far.
Yep, the one bit of power that was too much. Everything shuts down. All the carnies turn around. They're
pissed off looking. They're trying to figure out what it was, and then all of a sudden they see him fling his door open, and they're like,
pissed off too. Bits of it fall off.
Well, and you see, he's walking. He is fully doing the I'm alpha dog, right? He's walking over there like, these motherfuckers, they're not going to show me. I'm going to show them. Right. They're going to watch what kind of power I have right here. He goes over there. Well, before he even unplugs it, he lets them see. He looks at it, so he clearly is like, yep, this is the problem.
This is the problem.
He sees the breaker. He doesn't even try to flip it to see if that would still fix everything.
Right.
He unplugs it anyway. He's like, fuck it. I don't care if it will run. People. Now it's running. Fuck you guys.
Goes back in there, turns his air conditioner on.
Rex, though. Rex is not having that shit.
Hell no. He goes over. He plugs everything back in. Goes over.
Again, which means that it doesn't solve anything. No, the carnival stuff is still not running. He just does it because he knows it's going to turn off the AC.
Goes over, grabs the power drill, and points it at the little thing. And then everything shuts down again.
Some next level shit right there, right? That's some spite right there. Right.
It's like, I know I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it on purpose.
All right. And then we, from there, we get, now's the moment where we know for sure.
Yeah.
That
he's seen it.
That, we'll still say Biff.
Biff.
Although we are minutes, I think we can go ahead and say this. Yeah. We're minutes away.
Yeah.
His real name is Wallace.
Yeah.
We will save the actual introduction of every other piece of information from that, for the seconds from now when it happens.
Seconds from now.
But yeah, so we see Biff / Wallace in the trailer, and he gives us the little bit of exposition that goes on here. So he is brothers
with Wilder out there. They haven't seen each other in 5 years.
Since the marriage.
Since he got married to her.
And so we can tell, again, we still don't know what the animosity is.
There's some beef.
But there's definitely animosity. We can't tell if maybe he doesn't like both of them,
or
if it's just Wilder. We don't know details yet.
No,
we just know that
something's up.
That the three of them have a history.
And Snake Lady gave him terrible advice.
Yes.
She's like, oh, well, don't make it 6 years. Go out there and talk to him.
And so he does.
Go tell him you're going to be doing the TV thing.
And he does. Well, he doesn't tell him that yet. The TV part doesn't come for a while.
He sits down and tries to light a cigarette, right? With his...
Well, and it shows us that he does not have the control
that Wilder
does. Which is crazy because he's the one that uses his power.
All the time.
And Wilder never uses it, right?
He damn near lights his whole trailer on fire.
So he's definitely not got the skill, and we can see that this is the first time we really get to see that.
Yeah, and then we go back to Wilder, and they're
the elephant.
They've got the elephant. They're gonna knock his whole little fucking booth over and just get it out of the way.
But right about that time, Biff / Wallace walks up, and he's like, "Well, what's going on here, boys?
That guy's messing with all our power. Burn him, Biff. Burn him."
Well, I can't do that.
That's my brother.
That's my brother, Rex.
And fucking Wilder's just like, so, Wallace, you're a clown. Good job. Way to go. And he just shoots back at him. It's like, you run a freaking photo booth. Like, you're not doing any better.
The way they knock at each other is so... It's always like kids. Like, again, you feel the sibling rivalry between the two of them every time they talk.
They're like one step above calling each other poopy head.
Wilder climbs himself down from the booth and kind of just stands there in like a moment of dissociation, right? Like he literally gets outside and just... Like he in disbelief that his brother is just standing there in front of him.
Especially with all this
shit. And dressed as a clown.
Right? That would fuck with me the most.
All of it's got to be a little bit of a shock to the system for sure.
It's like, hi, bro, why are you a clown?
And he whispers to his brother, do they know? They know about your powers?
Yeah, they know.
We're one big nuclear fucking family here.
Fucking all the carnies come over and they're like, yeah. And he fucking
pisses Wilder off.
Yeah, he's like, God damn it.
Why? Because that is the one thing Wilder is definitely not okay with. And again, at this point, they start ripping into each other even more. And this is when I get my favorite line from Quaid. He pulls out the suspenders of the clown suit and he goes, "Very impressive of you." I was just like, what is this? When he is in clown. And he says this. Clown. He says this because when Wilder calls him out for being Wallace.
Not while I'm in makeup. I'm Biff.
So we see he is very serious about this.
Yeah.
He is a true performer. He takes this shit serious.
And it's the best kind because he just basically takes his own personality and dials it up to 11 because he's a douchebag like this without of the makeup.
Well, and then he starts, he takes the insults too far, right? He hits Wilder in the wig.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so the hair never grew back.
And we don't know why that's such a deep cut yet. We'll find out. It's bad.
Sarcastically said sorry about it.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry.
So we can assume that it's him. It was.
Yeah,
we'll get into the details later. And then we got my favorite weird and I barely understand insult ever from Wilder. Wallace, go drop your pants and chase a donut and take your carny friends with you.
Your single helix carny friends with you. What the fuck? That's the title of the episode, right?
Go drop a pants and chase a donut?
Yeah, that's
Go drop a pants and chase a donut. What does that even mean,
I don't know, but
dude?
It's funny.
Son of a... He's so... Wilder is so weird.
I will go chase a donut because donuts are delicious.
I think that Wilder might be on the autism spectrum, right? Like he seems like he really doesn't understand social settings and how to read them or how to interact with people. I don't know. He seems like he's not people sometimes.
Well, later on we find out reasons that maybe it's just because he just shut off completely and never learned them.
I guess.
Like it wasn't like he was like mentally is just like he just made a conscious effort of just like I have to focus on this thing, social, friends, all that bullshit isn't important.
I guess maybe
we'll get that's pretty fucked up.
While they're fighting is when we first find out that when they get frisky, fires happen.
Yeah.
Right? Wallace throws it at Wilder. He's like, well, of course I knew you were still living here. When we rolled into town, me and the boys could see
we could see your love burned into the sky.
Now,
it was beautiful.
Now, what's funny, though, is that that's not true.
Yeah.
The fire that they saw smoke billowing from when they rolled into town was just the one that Vida set to get him home. It was their
yard on fire.
Yeah. So it is funny. It is true. It is not true for this situation. It's true that when they have sex, that happens. We do see that later on in the movie.
Shit gets warm.
We did not, however, see it the first time, which is weird. Right?
Maybe he wasn't that into it.
Well, he definitely didn't seem like it.
Just going through the motions at that point. He's like, sex, whatever.
At this point, though, they finally kind of shape it up and they're like, back to what this all started from. Hey, Biff, don't forget, this dude's fucking us over. Yeah, that goddamn air conditioner he keeps turning on overloads all our equipment.
And we can't get our shit set up.
And so Wallace just looks and he goes...
starts doing fucking like John Wayne impression.
Well, he's doing the cowboy stuff. Right. He's like spinning a gun. He's like, that air conditioner?
That right there?
That's the offender?
You wouldn't possibly mean this one? Boom.
And he pulls out.
The coolest practical effect.
Well, and it's a cool practical effect. It looked awesome, and it set up for us an awesome part about their powers, right? Like, up until now, all we've seen are actual fires, right? Yeah. Like, we've seen them explode the mosquito. We've seen a couple of cigarette fires. It's been fire.
Yeah.
This time it sets up for us that they can also just
manipulate heat
into an intense waves,
right?
Because he totally melts. There is a fire in the middle, but it's secondary. Like it's like the heat
caused from the heat.
Yeah, the heat caused something to catch fire
because it starts melting and then the fire comes out.
It looked like nuclear radiation.
Right? It was so cool, and I would not want to have been in front of it.
Yeah,
instant ash. Right.
This movie again. Some of the effects later when we do some more of the fire stuff get the
rotoscope fire.
They're a little cheesy. But
it's awesome.
For 93, a lot of these hold up and look pretty dope.
Great. A lot of the practical effects are really fucking good because they used real fire a lot of the time. It's like, we're going to burn something. Cool.
And so then Wallace gets pissed, right? For a split second. We get this moment where it's totally Marty McFly Back to the Future, right? Like it's totally like, you didn't just call me yellow, chicken. Right? Like he totally just gets so mad and huffs up and he's about to do something.
Yeah, he goes to do it.
And he does. I love that there's differences between them, right?
Yeah, Wallace does the
finger guns
and Wilder does the like Dr. Xavier fucking
mind touch.
Pinch.
Yeah, it's so great to see that like they both have these different approaches to this power.
Might be why he's more accurate with it, because he's actually focusing.
We have no idea. They never give us again. The fire stuff in this movie is totally secondary. It's not the movie.
Yeah,
it sets up some cool things that happen. The movie is just this fucked up relationship.
Don't ask
between
too many
these people.
questions on why these guys can make.
Yeah,
fire.
No, that never comes into it. We never talk about that. No, we never talk about origins.
There's no origin to the fire.
We don't know when it started.
No,
they could have been babies setting fires for all we know. They don't tell us anything.
Wow, that'd be a hard ass baby to take care of.
It would, but again, I'm just saying we don't. I'm just saying we don't know. That's all I'm getting at. And we don't see their parents. So did they kill them as children? We don't know enough about these people and their powers.
I want a prequel short. Like 10 minutes.
Sorry. But yeah, when Wilder starts pinching his... We got off track there.
Yeah,
when Wilder starts pinching his brain mind powers, he then all of a sudden has that moment of realization you can see where he's like, oh this motherfucker's just trying to trick me.
Yep,
he's trying to
bait
He's
me.
manipulating me to do something that he knows I don't want to do.
You're not going to goad me into this.
And he's right, though. As soon as he said that...
goes back up and he's immediately
and he totally got the recognition he needed from Wallace, right? Like he knew he was right because Wallace instantly got mad that he wouldn't do. He's like...
Just like when we were kids, you haven't changed a bit.
And it really is. It's the irony that neither one of them noticed that they are both still being like children is crazy.
I guess a group of carnies isn't the best people
to
point that out, are they? Like, hey man, maybe you all need to grow up, you know? Nice heart to heart from Ernest. He sits him down.
Then we finally get a look, our first look at Wallace. Right?
No more not makeup. Because as soon as he gets in the camper or whatever, he just like gets all sad and takes this shit off.
Well, and now I want to point this out. He then changes into this outfit, which first I gotta say two things. One, risky outfit to wear.
Yeah,
it is the lightest shade of khaki pants I've ever seen,
white.
And then solid white. Well, not the striped white shirt, right? But thick, wide white stripes with tiny, thin, dark stripes. So practically a white shirt.
Asking for stains.
It's crazy.
Around all this equipment and shit.
And then we also, it's the only outfit he wears.
If he's not,
Dennis Quaid is in 3 things in this movie. This outfit, Biff the Clown. And Fireman.
Dr. Napalm.
Yeah, Dr. Napalm. That's it. This man has the craziest wardrobe for this movie. But they never give us a story reasoning for why for the next 4 days in a row never changes out of this outfit.
Spend all his money on clown outfits.
Well, and he's got that dope car that says his name on the side.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
You know, those decals aren't cheap.
Especially back then. It was probably hand painted.
Yeah, that's true.
93? I bet it was hand painted.
Rex did it. He's like a closet painter. He's actually really good.
He walks up and we see that these are indeed the shoddiest rides we've ever seen, because Rex left half of the parts back at Frostburn
or something like that. We might have left a box of bolts back here, but I'll keep lookout for fallen kids, Biff. Don't you worry.
And he gets on him. He says, Wallace.
My name is Wallace.
He literally does the hand flourish across his face.
I am not in character right now. I am Wallace.
And we see him walk over to the phone, right? Payphone.
He goes was he intending to call Vida, or was he going to try and call his brother?
So this is what I think. I think his intention was to still piss off his brother, right? And then he was still probably going to show up.
Yeah.
But then he calls and Vida answers.
Because then he gets creepy and weird and just kind of breathes into the phone.
And it's a blow to his ego. He wasn't ready. He thought he was ready to deal with all this shit, and he wasn't. Yeah. Right. He heard her voice, and so this is our final clue into the fact that yes, all 3 of them are intertwined with each other. Like it's not like he's mad at her because of this, or he's mad at his brother because of her. It is definitely weird love triangle. You know what I mean? Like
definitely.
The reaction he gets to the voice lets us know there is definitely a complicated history here.
He's got some feelings he hasn't dealt with yet. Or
and
suppressed.
Something. He's got some somethings.
Go deal with your somethings in a better way, man.
Then we see that there was a fire in town, right? He hears it. And as soon as he hears it, we see him walk off. We don't see fuck off from him for a little bit.
No, but he knows that
he knows his brother's
not going to be home.
So you know, two things are going to happen. He's either going to go talk to the woman, or he's going to start fucking with the booth.
Yeah, I think he does a little bit of both.
We don't get to see the booth, but I assume he does.
I do too. He went in there and rearranged some of his shit because he knows his brother's all fucking stupid, OCD about it.
He did something. He had to. We see that Wilder at the fire. He's on top of the house singing show tunes to himself
about like fireman stuff, like hydrant wrenches.
Yeah, it's so
canvas hoses.
Very bizarre. He's got that giant
pokey stick
poker thing, and he
pokes a hole in the roof.
Fire shoots up at him. They hose him down. Whole time all this has been going on.
It triggers a freaking flashback. Right?
It's not just the flame though. That's what.
He looks down.
He's been seeing these two kids the whole time. So like the combo of the flame in his face and seeing these two kids
who are dressed like little cowboys,
just like him and his brother. This was so bizarre, right? The fact that they were specifically two equal-aged cowboys,
right? Time was a little weird for that outfit for those kids, but then the flashback it made.
So again,
sense.
In the 50s, we see it was him and his brother. They walk up. They're seeing this cabin out in the woods with their friend. We don't catch his name now. Don't worry, guys. I'll tell you later because it's a truly weird one.
Name.
But so the friend is just like, I can't let you in here, but this is my cool hideout. I thought I'd show you, but we gotta stay outside.
And they're like, well, we didn't want to go inside anyway.
It looks like it's on fire.
And there's like smoke rolling out.
No, I want to go ahead and talk about this because this sets up this is trauma through the rest of the movie, right? Yeah. They had not done anything yet. The smoke was rolling out when they walked up, and we saw it in the flashback. Yeah.
I don't think they set that fire.
Well, I think they made it worse.
They made it worse, but I don't think they set it.
I think that dude was dead either way.
Yeah, that dude was going to be fucked either way.
We're jumping the gun. You guys probably won't hear this part yet. I just wanted to say that to you because I was just like, did you notice that?
No, because as soon as the shot starts, it's the window.
Then you see it out, and it's before, again, since he does his... With the mind, he's not holding anything when he first points out to the kid, like, it's on fire.
Yeah,
neither one of them has done
doing their little gesture.
So again,
the dude probably his cigarette fell because
he's already smoldered, right? Like it was just him, right?
Yeah.
They didn't do it.
No, it wasn't them. They just made the fire worse.
Yeah, they set the building on fire, but I think the guy had died from a cigarette fire overnight. Like we were seeing the smolder,
probably,
right? Something. But yeah, I'm glad that you were.
Yeah, I caught that too.
But yeah, so once their friend was like, "You can't come in here," they were like, "Oh yeah,
fuck your building,"
and we see
blow it the fuck up.
We see that these two have had full control of these powers since at
they
least
were like 8.
And so it was intense. Like every time one explosion happened, the other brother would make another one out of another thing. You see explosions out the windows, out the tiny chimney roof hole,
right
out the door. It was insane. As soon as it starts happening,
screaming.
Yeah, man.
So that means he would have been alive and wasn't dead before.
Yeah, we were wrong completely. I'm glad we're gonna edit that out. That's a good point. Yeah, so we hear a scream. We see their little friend's face. He is totally like, what? What's going on? I don't understand.
And then it cuts back to the future. And it's... He's like getting yelled at by his boss on the fucking roof still and stuff. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm doing my job. And drops his little stick. And it goes straight down in front of the fire chief's face. And just...
We don't go to the... You're right, that's how that ends.
Yeah, that's the end of that scene.
Yeah, well, no. That scene ends on the flashback still. Then we automatically go to Vida at the house. They kind of chop back and forth here. Really weird, yeah. So I don't blame you for not remembering exactly where the chops are. This gets really weird. But so technically we see, as the viewer, we see them go to the house and Wallace show up to Vida.
Oh, and unexpected
she's playing the cello. Yeah, that's what we see. Because the cello music...
Or like having sex with the cello. I don't know. She was super into what she was doing.
The cello music is what ends the flashback. Like they use that to carry us into the
transition
scene.
Into it.
Yeah. Again, not really important. I just I didn't want to get too off track in my notes. I was like, man, I don't know. This chops up so much. I'll get lost if we don't try to say a little bit with where these are. So Wallace shows up. We truly see that Vida does know him. They have a past.
She seems happy to see him.
Yeah.
Even though he has the creepiest fucking face.
Yeah.
As soon as he showed up
this lets us know that this is really weird. And when he shows up, we see this is the moment where
she's
see
painting her cigarettes with the highlighter.
They both have did we even mention that earlier? Yeah, so the cigarette she had was green.
It's green.
His cigarettes have been orange. They both are coloring their cigarettes. These adults are coloring the cigarettes with highlighters. They're smoking dangerous chemicals for no fucking reason.
I knew a girl in high school. She'd dip her cigarettes in perfume and then smoke them. I'm just like, don't fucking do that.
Well, I mean, we do know that Wallace is in this all white outfit, so he likes to live dangerously. So,
yeah, I guess so.
The highlighter on the cigarette was just one more step
one more
for him.
thing.
He didn't care. Yeah. So I just wanted to point that out because we clearly see her actually before that. There are some brands of cigarettes that do this. So
yeah, you were telling me about this.
Wouldn't be that outrageous, but this is the moment where we get to see. No, she is.
Yeah, they're
coloring
clearly
them.
smoking Lucky Strikes. Like you see packs of Lucky Strikes all over the place in this movie. They try to hide the logo, but I smoke those. I know that cigarette.
Vida starts telling us the story about how she ended up on house arrest.
Yeah.
So
I love this.
Wilder used to have a better job. And the only problem, though, is he had to get up early. And it was fine, except for when it was wintertime.
Yeah.
In wintertime, he had to be able to take care of this whole sidewalk for them to be able to get out so he could do everything else he needed to do. And so one day, she wanted to help him.
Yeah, and there was like an inch of ice on all of it.
Yeah, it would have taken him all day
forever
to do it. So she was like, look, I got this.
Gasoline.
She goes home, she gets a can of gas.
And very carefully, she said.
Puts it in a very thin stripe. A very thin line.
Right.
Down the road.
Down the sidewalk. Lights it. And it works great because gas floats on top of water. And it'll just melt it.
She says this and it sounds so reasonable.
I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, she's right.
It'll evaporate off.
Yep.
And then it will burn. The gas will burn off where it's at.
Totally.
The only thing she didn't think about.
Gravity. And
an
the
incline.
road was on an incline. So now it's like flaming
there's
gas
a burning
water
creek
just running down the road toward a doctor's office.
Where she proceeds to tell us, at first she's like, there's this doggy door. And then she goes to correct herself. And she, swear to God, I don't know if it was a flub and they kept it or what, but she almost says shit door. She almost goes from saying it's a doggy door to
like
shit door.
A door where
she's
you put stool samples and urine samples.
She goes, it's a place where they put...
Yeah.
Stool samples.
I want it to be just she almost just said it and
they kept
corrected.
It. Yeah.
They just kept it in. Those are always better.
So she's like, and so of course the fire
$18,000
straight inside the shit door.
Right, $18,000 in damages, and
Wilder never got mad at me.
Never yelled, not once. I was like, yeah, because that's what he does.
Stood by my side.
He internalizes shit.
Stood by my. He had me.
Right, had my back. All this good shit, but the correctional department put her bangle on her leg.
Yep.
Her Star Trek fucking
so again
monitor.
It did stem from good.
Yeah, she was just trying to help.
But it was stupid.
But she did light a doctor's office on fire.
And again, we have to believe the pyromania that the reason her head went fire first.
Yeah.
Is because of the sickness she already has.
Yep. You can solve most of your problems with fire. Don't you know that?
Then while they're talking after that, Wallace just throws out, so let me just ask you this then. Who sent me the picture from your wedding?
Wilder sent it to you.
No, he's like, yeah. She says Wilder, but he was like, was it you or Wilder? Oh, I can't believe Wilder would have sent that to you. Of course it was.
Right. Fucking course. Just twist the knife. She's like, there's
no
fucking
knife. And so at this point, she really starts to set up for us that she is either just tone deaf to the situation.
Right.
That she doesn't understand how bad this is between the two of them over her. Or that she's just in denial about it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is, but she is clearly trying to, like, gaslight him it doesn't exist, but it does.
It totally does.
You can literally earlier when they were fighting with each other, the sibling rivalry shit, there became so much more of a realness and animosity the second her name was mentioned. Because
he's like, so how's Vida?
And goes,
yes, still with me.
The whole tone of the conversation changed, right? Like
you could just hear that's right, bitch.
And so like I said, she is 100% either in denial or doesn't believe. I'm gonna go with
denial.
Bad.
Like she's so like perky and upbeat that she's just like, if I just smile and keep everybody happy,
everything's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely not true. And then literally Wallace looks at her and is like, I don't even understand why he's that mad at me.
Why does he hate me so much?
You think it might have something to do with you burning his hair off at his bachelor party?
Well, he could have fought back.
I love that it's not even just that he did set, because again, earlier in the movie we said before you even know they're related, you might assume that that's what happened, and it is what happened.
It is.
But the kick too far.
Because at his bachelor party.
It was at his bachelor party. That means he's what, like a week away from getting married?
There's
tops.
no way it's healing. He's still going to be bandaged and shit, which he is. If you pay attention, there's a picture and it's like trying
white
to hide
bandage.
it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I'd have never forgave your ass too.
So messed up.
But his response, like, he could have fought back.
Yep. And so she's like, so then why are you even fucking here though? I mean, he finally, he kind of dances around it at first, and he's like, "Look, I came because I'm gonna go on TV.
I'm going public with my powers. I'm gonna be rich and famous. I can do commercials. I can sell all kinds of stuff.
So
Charborough Whoppers, lighter fluid."
So obviously he's going on Letterman. The implication here, as he's having the conversation, because he starts looking at her very like knowingly about why he would be here after making the decision to go on television.
Mm-hmm.
So we know,
want you to go with me.
Well, not only that, we find out as soon as he starts to say that, we've already heard her. She thinks the power is not something that should be hidden. We should tell people.
And Wilder's not about it.
And so as soon as we hear this, she even says, well, I mean, I can't disagree with you on that.
Yeah, I knew you'd say that.
And so we can see, even if he's not saying the words yet, he is clearly here to try to win her over.
Yep,
to try
he's trying to steal Wilder's woman, dick.
And then we see they start hanging out on the roof. Wilder shows up with the fire department because they just finished their job putting out the fire.
He's pissed.
He's not happy.
He's not happy.
The face he has is
like,
so
why
mad.
Are you with my wife? I'll kill you, because he knows.
If it weren't for the fact that the other firemen were like calm and she immediately played it off and they just kept going with it, this whole scene would have been way more intense. Yeah, right. But instead, everything gets to go calmly. She yells to them, I'm going to jump off the roof, boys.
Catch me, guys.
And she does. She turns around. She looks at Wallace and she's like, watch this.
Right.
Back into
goes. They all catch her and shit.
Talk about a trust fall.
Right.
Off the top. Again, it's just a trailer, but that's still intense.
It still would have hurt like hell.
Going backwards.
Right.
Whew. It was a touch.
It's a good thing she don't weigh nothing, too.
But then we also get to see a picture of this, like, quaint life, right, that Wilder's trying to live.
Yeah.
Right? Like, both Wallace and Vida, they want fame. They want celebrity.
Yeah.
But he's happy to be the guy who rides home after putting out a fire with his buddies and have lemonade with the wife.
Right? He just
wants
he wants the 50s white picket fence.
It's so cute, though.
It really is.
Like, and she's even all about it. She can say what she wants. There's such a joy you see.
Yeah, she's having a great time here.
When they show up and she gets to do this and they're all dancing around. She starts dancing around the kitchen,
because
this is where
we're getting our first song.
This is when we find out that there's a barbershop quartet in the midst of the firemen. And they start doing Duke of Earl. Duke of Earl.
Duke of Earl.
So good. So good.
And it goes on forever.
No, they do the whole song.
Yeah, I know.
It's a whole scene. While the scene's going on, we see Vida's dancing around.
Staring contest.
Well, Vida's dancing around having fun. She is literally not paying attention to them.
Right.
But from their point of view, you'd think that they were in the middle of this like pull with her, right? Like it was a pull back and forth of her.
She goes and she pours some lemonade for Wallace.
But literally, she also pours lemonade for every other fireman.
Else,
she also gets just as close to their face as she did to his face.
Wilder pulls her over into his lap, and he's
like,
over
he's got his head like he's like rubbing his head against her bosom,
her titties.
He's just like,
Yep.
He's looking at her. He's doing the
and then it goes into the.
But then Vida sees.
Yeah.
And Vida is very pissed off.
That eye roll.
Dude,
that eye roll was deep.
She was so incredibly done with the two of them at that moment.
She even leaves, just goes in the other fucking room, leaves all of them. She's like, fuck you, children.
As children, I was just about to say it. It always goes back to this. They act like children, like so much like little kids. This is such a like 15-year-old kid thing to see happen right there.
Yeah, this is my girlfriend, fucker.
But then all the other guys clear out. Wilder's in the front yard
working on the
car. Literally, Wallace starts calling him on it. 5 years ago, that thing still wasn't running. That's the same one, right?
Same fucking car.
He just ignores him. He's like, brother. Mon frere.
Mon frere.
It's what he always says to like rub it in. Mon frere.
What's wrong with the car, mon frere? And he's just like,
I don't know. Yeah, I love that.
The fuck are you here? You're here. You're drinking my lemonade. You're hanging out with my wife. What the hell do you want?
They're making these pot shots out of each other.
Right?
And he yells, "You're not what makes you think you're welcome here?" And then, as if we needed the knowing shot,
right?
We see Vida in the corner, and it's like, oh yeah, Vida is the reason he's welcome.
Yeah,
here.
That's right, motherfucker. He even looks over at her like,
oh yeah,
her. That's why I'm welcome here, because she likes me.
So then we,
this is where he finally
tells him he's going to be on TV. He's like, and so he's like, look, this is part of why I'm here. You wanted to know why I showed up in town. I didn't know you were still living here. I hoped you were, because I needed to tell you.
It's not like they had the internet back then for him to know.
We say that, but what's about to happen right now? Listen to me. So he says that, right? He's like, like, I didn't know you were here. I had to show up. I wanted to let you know I'm going to be on TV. And then Wilder snaps, right?
Yeah.
Like we know he would, because he totally doesn't think people should know about the power. And he says, he's like, they're going to try to, haven't you seen Firestarter?
Yeah, it's like you're going to be a freak. Wing-tipped shoed men are going to take you into the desert and put a probe up your ass.
You know,
Firestarter. I know you read the book.
They're going to accuse you of every arson event up and down the East Coast.
Going all the way back to Horace Braintree's clubhouse.
So this is the part where I tell you that if fucking Wallace wanted to know, he would have known. Because Wallace proceeds to tell us the most insane amount of facts about what Horace Braintree has been up to.
Yep.
He's got his own business. He's married, got a divorce from a cheerleader, got multiple children. He knows what they look like.
Right.
This man could have known if his brother was in town or not. And he did. He did know. But you get my point. Like, it's weird for him to even make the conversation as if he didn't know for sure.
And he has like a tantrum here. He's like jumping up and down and flinging lemonade like, we were 8 years old. We were little kids. No one cares.
Well, think about it. If the two of you did the exact same thing, but one of you was able to move past the trauma, but the other one wasn't, it would probably be quite upsetting to the one who was like,
I think I would have shook him rather than jump up and down.
Well, I agree. I'm not trying to say that the jumping up and down makes sense, but I'm saying the idea of that kind of behavior makes sense.
It just goes back to the whole like child mentality of these fucking people. He has a full on like 9-year-old tantrum here.
Mm-hmm. And that's really the wrap up of the scene too, right?
Yeah,
like he leaves, he's pissed off.
I'm going on TV. Yeah. They're going to put me in the movies. Then
drives off,
speeds off, starts
in his weird truck. It's so funny. He's making fun of the jalopy of a car, but he's like driving in also 1950s truck too.
1930s truck. It's old as fuck.
And so it's like you can't make just because your jalopy runs doesn't mean you get to make fun of the other guy's jalopy, right?
At least mine moves.
That's basically what was going on too. But so
transmission ain't shot in mine.
Well, he shows back up to the carnies. This is that moment we mentioned earlier where they're having carny joke time.
Carny joke
they're
time.
Sitting around a circle like, have you ever heard the one?
You ever heard the one about the carny that had the oral sex with the chicken?
And he coughs feathers out. Good joke.
That was a good joke.
But that was like a mix of magic too, because that was a lot of feathers. His hand was not. It was not like he was holding like a stack. Like, right, like pretty tight. That's some magic trick shit.
If first time you saw the movie, you'd think he was actually going to cough.
Oh yeah,
until the feathers fucking came flying.
Wallace pulls up. Sorry,
pissed.
wait a minute. No, I got a pun for you. Wallace pulls up, all fired up,
ready to go.
Dude, we're in a movie like this. You gotta hit the puns where we can. Where we can, you gotta find them and do it, right? Yeah, he's ready to go, and then we hear Rex totally throw some crazy statements out that he is willing to die.
Oh yeah,
this is his one chance. This is his chance to get out of this shithole.
Because that one guy's looking at him. He's like, because he gets in the Ferris wheel. And he's like, take me to the top. And that one guy's, you reckon it's his brother, and Rex
like, I don't care who it is. I'm willing to kill for this.
But I don't know. All I know is I'm gonna get off the road and on the TV.
I'm willing to kill him.
Goddamn kill somebody.
Yeah,
I was like, dude, jeez, Ernest, calm down.
Like I said, this really sets up for you like that. Rex is a desperate man. He's willing to do anything.
Son of a bitch. He will do anything to get out of this carny life.
We see when he's sitting on top of the Ferris wheel, the reason he wanted to be up there, even though there's no way he could have known that this was going to work out this way,
so
that he could see their trailer. And she's looking out the window at him. This is the moment where up until now, there's been no inclination that she has like untoward feelings for Wallace, right? Yeah. Now there starts to be a lot of weird uncomfortableness because she's like holding her hand up to him
right in the window, and she's so distracted by it that she burns the shirt with the iron.
Yeah,
sets off the smoke alarm and shit.
Like I said, this is where it starts to become.
This is where you start to think maybe she's a bad person.
Well, this is the part where you're definitely like,
wait a minute,
look,
that's weird, lady.
Well, and it's been 5 years, and we don't know how long they dated before that. Like, it's just like...
Or if they did at all.
Well, but either way, 5 years is still long enough where you're like, lady, you made this commitment. You made this decision already. What the fuck are we doing here? Yeah?
Yeah, you need to fucking relax.
I agree. Next day happens. What is it?
It's ankle bracelet off day.
Woo!
Freedom!
She breaks the deputy's nose.
She's so excited. She busts through the door. She smacks him right in the
breaks his fucking nose.
It's just a little blood. It's just this little blood. You can come in, you're gonna be fine. Sitting there with ice on his fucking face.
As soon as they take that thing off her ankle, she immediately runs outside. Gets rid of that fucking newspaper sign.
Stupid sign, throws it, and just
starts
takes off
running. Because again, they don't have a working car, so their only way to get anywhere
is to walk
on foot. But again, you would want to on a day like this.
It's a nice day.
You've not left your house for a year.
My luck would fucking be like
raining and shit. Although I think she would still do it. She strikes me as the type.
Yeah, she would.
So she runs straight over to our quick photo or photo quick or whatever it was, our photo booth that he's in. And you think he forgot at first, right? Like the way the whole scene plays out, you're like, why isn't he at home?
Right.
Wouldn't you have been at home for a day like that? But when she shows up, he does pull out the flowers, so he knew he was ready for her to show up whenever she was going to, right? Because we saw normally he picks him up on the way home, so we know that he did it on the way. It was a purposeful reason
because he knew as soon as she was going to come running.
Exactly. So I mean, he at least did try that much.
He thought that much far ahead,
but that's as far as he thought ahead.
Goddamn, as far as he.
This is so stupid because she immediately starts with like, "Well, what are we going to do tonight?" And he's like, "Well, I'm going to call bingo." What do you mean?
I got to go call bingo. I kept having to put it off because you didn't want me to leave and stuff, but now you
had
don't have
a year.
I know.
You had a year.
A whole year to plan something for your lady.
And you know she'd want it. It's a year.
She's told him several times what she wants. She wants to go see the symphony, dinner. She wants to get out of this stupid town.
A year.
And he's just like, well, the car doesn't work anyway.
It's kind of hard to walk to the symphony.
Fuck, you could.
Well, we will hear very shortly that there is indeed music being played
that day
downtown. It might have been quite a hike, and it probably was because the road we see as they go.
Like they're outside of town a little.
But my point being, it's not like they were going to the next metropolitan city. They were going downtown for this small fucking Hickville they live in.
Right. It's like going from Chuck's house into town.
So you get what I'm saying? Crazy.
God. Just you're
This is the only time in the whole movie I feel like Wilder did something wrong is this. Everything else Wilder does is totally not wrong. Yeah, this man is
completely justified in everything else. Right now, though, it's like, man, you had a whole year.
You fucked up pretty bad.
You kind of fucked up here.
Now, he did not fuck up as bad as what he's about to have happen to him.
Yeah, he didn't deserve this.
So let's get into it. So since he didn't have anything planned for it, and literally as soon as he says he doesn't have anything planned, if you watch her, it looks like Vida starts eyeballing the carnival,
the carnival trailers.
Even though that it's
she
not
has
like
no idea which one it would be.
And even though she also doesn't walk over to it, right? Like, so it's not like that is what she's doing. It looks like it. It looks like she's just already being like, oh yeah, Wallace is here.
I have other options that may be more fun for my wild and free spirit.
And so she walks away very pissed off with Wilder. He's yelling to her. She doesn't care. She's fucking gone. As she goes, we see that Wallace has trained a chihuahua, a little chihuahua.
It's so cute. Little clown dog.
To chase after her. When would you train this dog to do this with any person, let alone a random stranger they've never seen before?
Because it chases her all the way across
Follows her until she turns around and sees it. And then as soon as she picks the dog up, why did he need the dog to chase her?
He was clearly just following her in
He could have just honked the horn and been like, fancy seeing you here.
Yeah.
We didn't need the dog involved. The dog would have only made sense if when she saw it, she would then have been like, oh, I should take you back to the carnival.
And then turned around.
Which is what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah, because she looks at the tag and the dog's name is Pagliacci. Get it?
Great reference.
It was great.
But yeah, the whole thing played out very weird.
It was, because he's like there 2 seconds. Bam.
Yeah. And then and again, they don't take the dog back home, but we never see it again. They go straight onto the date. Where did he put it in the glove box? Where did this chihuahua disappear to?
Just pop it in the glove box with some food. It'll be fun. It's a tiny ass dog.
It is
probably
little.
Could.
But yeah, so he like total like greasy scumbag maneuver. She even
calls him on it.
I have problems with her this whole time. Because of stuff like that. She calls him on it, but then still
goes, right? That's what
she says. This is cheesy behavior. And then even when she goes, she gets in the truck and she calls him on even more weirdness with it and just lets it slide. I'm like, no, all of this is fucked up.
Yeah.
The fact that you're just acting like it's okay. You're being like, yeah. But so when we first see it though, she rides in the back. So you're even at least like she's at least putting some physical space.
She's just like, okay, she just wants to go hear the symphony that he has tickets to, conveniently enough.
Again, for someone who hadn't been there for 5 years, he doesn't.
Yeah, he seems to know what's going on in this town and has tickets for
all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it seems convenient.
Well, he didn't even know she was under house arrest, but he magically
had tickets for that day.
Got them that quick. I don't know. Yeah, so he takes her down there. Well, the weirdest part though is again, she was like, I'm not gonna sit inside, right? That's why she was outside. That's why she I can't be inside on a day like today where I just got free.
Just riding in the back of the truck. It's nice.
They say that they need tickets for the symphony. This symphony was outside downtown.
In the public. There's people just walking around behind them. You didn't need tickets. You could have just stood over there.
And it was there. I don't know about you, but I saw no PA system. And it was in front of a water fountain in downtown. Nobody outside of the people playing those instruments could hear those instruments.
Yep.
There's no way. I used to play a violin. It carries not that well.
Not that far.
Not in public. In an open fucking space.
I don't know. Maybe the acoustics are bouncing off that building behind them, and you can amplify. I don't fucking know.
My
favorite bit of that was she's sitting there and listening. She's loving the music, and Wallace pops in with the champagne. He's just like, "I love Beethoven." It's just Mozart. And he just kind of looks at her, and he's just like,
I think you might even have that backwards.
I love Beethoven.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't give a shit who it is. I love Beethoven.
But then we see the ride, they're about to finally go home. She's in the back, and he's like, "Are you sure you want to go home?"
Yeah, Wilder's probably gonna be mad as it is.
Yeah, she at least she kind of plays up the seriousness too. Like when she says it, she's not even like mad. She's like, he's gonna be furious as is when he sees this. Like she's even calling out the fact that who it is that she's been with, right?
Yep.
And then he says, "You sure I couldn't interest you in some fireworks?" Though?
Hell yeah, you can.
Again, she's a pyromaniac. He knew that she was going to say
exactly what to do. She lit up at fireworks. She's like, explosions. Off to putt-putt and fireworks. Like, this sounds cool. I want one of these places. They do fireworks every Saturday at putt-putt.
Yeah, and then once we see that that's where they go, well, technically before, but we'll let it. So this is not important. But yeah, I'll leave it that way. After they show up to the putt-putt place, though, before we see what they're doing, we see that from his booth, Wilder sees Snake Lady.
Oh yeah, she
catches the cab,
getting in the cab,
going home. I have problems with this because they make it seem like he has processed and understands what that means.
Yeah,
right.
They have a look,
right?
It's like, oh, I know that he's fired that chick because he's going to try and move in on my girl.
But later on, he totally acts like he didn't have that thought. Yeah. But like literally right now, it seems like that's what's going across his head.
Yeah, and he's like immediately like, I should go check, and then doesn't,
and then he goes to bingo.
Yep, just regular, starts calling out numbers and shit.
But yeah, so then we do see it back to them at the putt-putt course. They're getting photo boothed together. They're doing all the date things that they shouldn't be doing because this shouldn't be a date.
No.
And they're playing through the putt-putt, and she starts asking him some questions about everything, right? Like, so again, I just want to know more about like what made you decide to finally do this? 5 years or 32 years,
and why?
It's a long time to finally decide now. He is such a liar, right? His story to her was that he was in Frostproof, lying in bed, watching TV, saw the TV show come on, Bewitched, realized that they were right.
Yeah,
right? Like
Darren's a dick making her fucking hide her powers. Why? What's wrong about it?
He goes through this whole story, right? And he says, I guess when it was done and I was alone, truly alone, had some self-reflection about that moment. How long would you say it seemed like him and Snake Lady had been together? Seemed like a pretty cemented relationship.
Easily as long as he'd been with that freaking carnival.
Okay. Frostproof is the name of the last place they were at, because that's where the parts were left.
That's where he left the bolts. That's right.
So you're telling me he was truly alone?
Yep.
He was lying. He was baiting her
his fucking ass
because
off.
he knew if he admitted that he was just shacked up with this woman.
She never met.
No, exactly. That's why she's gone now.
Yep, that's why I got rid of her.
He was trying to paint this whole situation out like he wasn't still shacked up with someone.
I'm so miserable and
like
genius.
I said, Wallace is such again. Vida
is a true carny, man. He's a real
Vida
one.
is not clean in this situation
by no means.
But Wallace is definitely
the manipulator
in being dirty and doing dirty things.
On
Vida is at best just not making the best decisions.
Yeah.
Right. We don't see her until here right now do anything that is technically a step over the line. After this conversation, though, they do kiss.
Yep, and
it sets fire to the
entire thing.
So at this moment, she has finally definitely crossed the line.
Over the line.
As far as we know, we've not even seen intention of her to cross the line before this.
Yep.
Even the going on the date was not necessarily for this.
She just wanted to see fireworks.
Right? From this point on.
He manipulated her every step of the way.
From this point on,
it's both of them.
She's making a lot worse.
Yep, it's all bad from here.
Once the fire gets started, obviously we know that means Wilder's going to leave bingo.
So they got to bolt. They got to get out of there.
And so he does. He shows up. Their fire department's singing again. Give me a second. They sing 2 songs for this one.
I think it's Johnny Cash.
Yeah, so they show up and sing. Fire department shows up after they bolt. They're singing "Burning Ring of Fire."
Going down.
Maybe not the best one. At least it wasn't a house fire, I guess.
Yeah, I
guess.
that
would be insulting to the people, but it is still a business that's burning down.
Yeah, if I was the owner of the freaking mini golf course, I'd be over there just like,
guys, not the time.
Why are you all
singing? Too soon. Too soon, guys. The fireworks start going off.
Yeah, then they all kind of stop what they're doing and watch, like, ooh, ah. And like, no, keep putting the fire out.
Now, again, this is that moment where
we get another flashback, right?
Yeah. Well, and it's another moment where you get this look on his face where you're like, oh, he knows what's going on.
Yep.
But he doesn't. We still see later on where he's totally like, I didn't know.
Yeah, but he does. He has that look on his face like he realizes,
the same one
like,
he did with the snake lady.
Oh man, this is how my brother set this fire to distract me from my girls so he could swoop in.
It's the same thing with Snake Lady.
But then it goes into the flashback.
Yeah.
To nullify the look.
And the flashback
there had to have been a weird directing thing.
We don't even really like all of these flashbacks. Like I'm not even worried about when I think there might even be one more after this that pops up.
No,
they're not. They're not real important because it's all still just that same time. This is literally just 30 seconds after.
Yeah,
the
and they
house
get to
went up.
see him pulling the body out and stuff, and that's
why
was Horace smiling?
Well,
did you notice that?
And because maybe he's about to inherit his grandpa's property.
I guess they fucking he has the biggest grin while they're pulling that charred body out.
But yeah, we see that Wilder is truly as a child he's affected by this. They don't actually let us see Wallace to see if he's affected. You know what I mean? Like they don't show us that child actor at all.
They really don't.
They just clearly want us to see that it really affected Wilder.
That's why he's so repressed and in control of all of his emotions.
He doesn't want to take chances.
He won't let
he's
it get out of control.
He's by the book because he has to be by the book because if he lets go,
this could happen again.
Yeah.
He won't even burn his own brother when he lights his hair on fire at his bachelor party.
All right. And then he finally, after the fire is under control, he goes back home. When he gets home, again, this is the point where you can finally completely tell that, like he hadn't processed that Vito was with his brother because he gets home and he totally is just like things are normal. He's got the helmet on. He's pouring himself a glass of orange juice. Like everything's normal. And again, if you had thought that was going on, you were finally now done with the day, so you could finally do something about it, right?
I wouldn't come home acting like I'm about to
sit down,
surprise my wife with my funny hat.
But when he starts to pour his orange juice, he hears from the roof
thumping noises.
And he looks up, and you see indent up, indent up, indent up, and he's like, "What?
What the fuck?"
He gets outside. We see they're up there.
He doesn't say a word.
Wallace is buttoning up his shirt.
His shirt up.
We don't know what, if anything, has happened. He goes. He takes the ladder. I say that for a reason.
I know.
I'm not defending.
I know, but I love them taking the ladder.
He throws the ladder.
Can just stay up there.
He throws the ladder so they can't go anymwer. I guess
it's like an 8-foot.
Yeah, it's nothing. Well, and they jump down like it's nothing.
Down.
But they spend too much. Let me stop. We'll get there when we get there. Yeah, so he throws the ladder, but then he gets on his lawnmower, right? Like a true madman, and starts riding around the room.
Just in a circle around the trailer all night. They won't listen to nobody, and he digs a trough.
Well, this is my point, though. While going in the circle, Vita says, "We didn't do anything.
Yeah, we didn't. We didn't do it.
We didn't do what you think. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to happen.
Not the entire reason that we were here.
Not that was definitely what was about to happen on the roof. Just, hey, you made it here in time that it didn't.
Yep.
So now everything's okay.
Good for you. You cock blocked me.
Well, no, she just acts like now it's okay. Like you got here before anything happened.
Nothing happened. It's totally fine now. Everything's innocent, right?
Like it's all. You shouldn't be upset.
Like a 9-year-old would think.
You shouldn't be upset. We're good.
Yeah,
we're good.
It doesn't matter what I was going to do. I didn't do it.
There had been no coitus, so it's okay. This is the part where it gets really insane, though. Like we said, it's only 8 feet.
They stay up there all night.
They spend the night, but then literally seconds after waking up, jump down. And it's like, well, if you
could have done that at any point.
If you spent all of 8 seconds after waking up to be like, we can definitely get down. Why not just get down the night before?
Right?
Why decide to sleep up there? When they get down, though, they don't even leave. Right? They go inside.
I know.
Vita changes clothes and is back into her super weird mood.
Everything's going to be fine.
She says that.
It's a bright, sunny day.
We just need to sit down and the three of us
breakfast and talk this out.
We just need to talk this out.
Get our feelings out.
My note is literally like, again, as far as we know right now, because we can only go by what she says. But we have no actual clue. My note was just like, talking it out. It's really
quick, simple conversation. You tried to fuck my brother, or you fucked my brother. Conversation's over. What did she think? What conversation was she expecting to happen here? What smoothed out conversation?
There's no nice way out of this. You were either A, going to, B, did.
Or you were manipulating us and you had no intention of doing it.
Yeah.
But either way, none of that's okay.
Yep, you're not a good person.
Like, because even manipulating on that kind of level, that's super fucked up, dude.
Fucked up, man.
Like, to play on the brotherly situation of it all.
Just putting brother against brother like that just for your own fucking amusement.
So, like I said, there's no version of how that played out that was going to be okay.
It's going to look good? No.
None whatsoever. But then she opens the window. She's trying to get him to stop. She's made his favorite breakfast, right? We see Wallace is shoveling cereal in by the mouthful. He's just like, trying to sober up, I guess. I guess he must have drank himself a lot of liquid courage the night before to try to do this to his brother.
Nothing else to do.
Yeah, so then he finally, though, is like, oh, I'll get him to stop. He starts yelling some shit at his brother. Still...
I'm eating your breakfast.
He finally had stopped the mower by this point, right? Yeah. But he hadn't gotten off
of it. He's just sitting on it, just
and so he's quiet. Yeah, that's what Wallace is like, in his face.
I'm eating your breakfast. I'm in here with your wife. Just take a swing at me so we can get this done. He implies that he slept with her.
Yeah. He literally, he's like, I was with your wife. He didn't say like...
Right.
He said I was with. No other verbiage.
Please just swing on me so we can freaking get this over with.
And so he finally does something. They've been begging for him to do something
this whole time.
And so he does. Pulls him out the goddamn window, dude.
Beware the wrath of the man who simply wishes to live in peace. This guy goes nuts. He puts the lawnmower on his brother's junk.
Yeah.
After he heart punched him in the chest. He was going to start that shit too. Chucks the helmet at him and
he turns around for a second. When he turns around, it gives Wallace the second he needs to blow it.
Burns it up, man, and blows it off of him.
And then he yells the craziest fucking line in the world.
Makes no sense.
You're dead, white boy.
You're dead, white boy.
Where did that come from?
I don't know, but
does he mean white as in vanilla?
Maybe.
Because it doesn't come across that way.
No, but
it comes across like he just called his own brother a cracker.
It's great because he fucking Wilder gets him back in a minute on the grid. He's like, who's the white boy now?
So random.
It makes no sense. Was in the script the two characters originally supposed to be black and they just never changed that line of dialogue?
That dialogue is so crazy. We see he burns the outline around
him and stuff, and she grabs the water hose like, I live here, damn it.
Well, as I say, this is the only... She starts to get upset now, and I'm like, this is the product of what you did. Fault. You are the maestro behind.
Right. This is what you
the symphony
had to have wanted to happen.
If you didn't know this is where this was gonna go, then you apparently don't pay enough attention to anything around you.
Does absolutely no good. The fight just keeps freaking going.
When she tried to stop it is the moment that both guys call her out. Right? Like, she's like, this is stupid. And they're like, isn't this what you wanted? Right. You're going to tell me?
You're going to tell me this isn't exactly what you want? Wallace says it, isn't it?
Both of them do. They both say it at different times. But yeah, they're like, no.
No, bitch, you wanted us to fight over you. Now sit back and let it happen.
Like I said, if she didn't know, she's stupid. Like, you had to know.
She can say whatever she wants in her head. She's just so happy about everything that's happening.
But now is when Wallace finally goes all fucking Firestarter, right? Like, with the eyes fucking...
Undertaker's his eyes into the back of his head.
And he gets real crazy.
The whole yard just gets engulfed.
Wilder dives underneath the house, and Wallace goes to chase after him. We see the crazy fingertip flame light ups.
Freddy Krueger flame tips.
Right? I love it, dude. The flame fingers.
Let's have a fair fight. And he smacks him with the leaf. It's the leaf to the table that he said wasn't under the house.
Thank God it was.
Right?
Thank God it was. I know. He said it would
dry rot.
Yeah, dry rot.
Why would I ever put that under there?
And where did he put it?
Yeah, you stupid fuck. Good thing, too.
Yeah, exactly. Came in handy. We see Wallace throws the fireball up through the house. Totally missed Wilder.
Wilder almost hit Vida.
But then Wilder freaks because Vida screamed, bumps his head
knocks himself out
on a beam underneath this trailer.
I've done that.
No, it's still just funny though. It's so comical that's what happened. So then Wallace shoves his head up the hole because he was trying to be like, "Oh, I got here first.
You okay?
You okay?" And she fucking hits him with the fire extinguisher across the face. So good.
It's a wacky ass fight. I love it. They eventually just blow up the whole fucking.
Well, what the next fireball that Wallace throws.
Right, it
hits the gas tank.
The propane tanks outside.
Right as the fire truck and the cops show up, because Vida had called to be like, we're experiencing another one of those situations here. So crazy that they happen so much. It's like those situations, and so then they're all in jail.
Yeah, they're all just sitting in jail.
Literally the craziest, like the funniest way you've ever seen a jail in your head, right? Like each cell is exactly big enough for the one person and a chair to sit in. There's no way they ever could have slept in there if they had to be there longer than a day.
Long enough to lay down in.
This is definitely not real. But so they're sitting there, and so Vida gets what she wanted, right?
Yep.
They have to talk now.
Yep. Nobody
can run away. Nobody can hide. And so she basically starts to air out her grievances, and she and Wallace start to point blame, not at Wilder, but at all of them, right? Like they're both, the both of them are like, all part of this. Nobody's innocent, is what they both keep trying to say. And Wilder points out, fuck both of you.
I didn't do shit.
I am 100% innocent.
I didn't do nothing here.
I was a man living my peaceful life when y'all did some dumb shit together.
You screwed my brother over bingo.
Well, what's funny is like that's after everything, right? Like they do all of this first argument with him about it, and then when he finally goes to wrap it up, succinct as smallly as he can, he just looks at her and goes, "So you're saying you slept with my brother over bingo?"
Yep. Which is what happened
essentially,
right?
And no sleeping. This is where it gets official because even Wallace finally is like,
we were about to.
Don't lie. Well, he says it, and then she's like, well, that's what he thinks. It's crazy to think that the whole fight happened without Wallace knowing Wilder thought they had slept together. Yeah. Because that's the implication right there, right?
Yeah.
That this was the moment Wallace realized Wilder thought that. And you're like, what? Why did he think this fight broke out?
Just because you were
because he thought you two were hanging out?
Right? No, he thought you fucked her, dude. Come on.
Yes, he does. He's like, he starts calling Vida out on her bullshit, right? He's like, you're full of shit if you think that we weren't about, like, whatever. You're lying to yourself right now.
We were about to do things they hadn't even come up with a word for yet. Don't lie about it.
Confirms that, Wilder showing up was the only reason.
Only thing that stopped it.
At this point, we have no one's word to go on but his, because Vida has lied enough times that we can't use her word for anything.
Yep. She's a bad narrator.
She's a habitual liar and a pyromaniac.
Why do you like her? Crazy bitches have good sex. I guess that's.
But yeah, Wilder lays out some really good points about exactly why they're fucking batshit.
I love
and I stand by this. At this point in the movie,
she sits there. She's like, "All right, that may have been some bad decisions on my part."
Yeah, that's how she tries to.
How you sum it up? Like
bad decision making.
I may have made some bad decisions.
But yeah, so he sums up all of it to them, like, like, I did nothing wrong. You guys totally screwed me over. I've got no want or desire.
And you all want me to take part of the blame?
He's like, I've got no desire to be any part of this. I hate
both of you
fully. And again, this is that moment where she finally, like, really sees how, before it's like she thought somehow she was going to come out on top, right? Like her argument was going to win.
It's all going to work out.
This is the moment where like the reality really starts to sit in, right? And she's just like, oh,
I fucked up.
Shit. But like I said way earlier, this is also the point where now, at this point in the story, everybody has done their fuck ups, right? Like every fuck up that is going to happen in the movie.
And Wilder's was the least of all of them.
His only offense in the movie was not having a better date for her when her time was up.
Yep, that's it.
Time she got for doing something dumb herself.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm not downplaying it. He fucked up.
Yeah,
it did not warrant the response that was given.
She should have just been mad at him.
Yep.
And
maybe
not talk to him for the rest of the day.
Moved on from there.
Something. Not this.
So then Rex shows up, tells us he's sold off half the equipment.
He's like, I fucking sold off the first.
So that way he can afford bail.
You out.
And he
we're
bails.
Gonna be on TV.
Exactly. It's all for his cash cow.
Yep.
He's like, I'm going to bail you out. And then, of course, Wallace, like, I'm not going to go anywhere. You're going to bail me out. You got to bail out Vida. Vida's like, if you're going to bail me out, you got to bail him out.
Wilder. And Wilder's like,
whatever.
I'm not leaving.
Yeah, he's like, what the fuck ever.
I hate you two. What do you not get about that?
This is during this scene is when we get to find out their last name finally.
Oh, the fucking
Fedroyant. Because he says it, the deputy, the same one that broke the nose of earlier, he got his nose broke again during all of this stuff. And he's very upset that they granted her bail in any way whatsoever. And he says, Mrs., therefore implying it is definitely
Wilder's last name.
Fedroyant. Foudroyant.
Fuck, that's a
Fedroyant.
name.
Yeah, we'll move on from that. I just had to point that out because it caught me so off guard.
I'm gonna go with Napalm. That's a much better, right? Like, Wilder Napalm is a much better last name.
But yeah, so everybody gets to go on about their way. We see Wilder takes the longest time to get home or to get somewhere. He has no home.
Yeah, he has no home. Their home is
burned
down, and but he's just wandering down the train tracks.
Wallace goes to the carnies. Vida, however, does not.
She goes to the firehouse.
She does not go with Wallace. No. Like I even expected.
I thought she was going to.
Nope.
She goes and hangs out with the firemen.
I have a problem with the firemen.
They're a little absent-minded.
Well, they're a little bit dickheaded to their friend.
A little bit.
They should not be on her side now about anything.
They should be like, because she's like, she asked one of them, like,
she's got them passing notes. She's got them passing notes like this is school.
And they didn't even give it to him in person. He just like put them in the
slot. Well, he couldn't find him. He had no idea where he was. It's out wandering the train tracks.
Don't worry about it. He'll find him when he goes back to his
because it's the only place he can go to. He has no house. So she knew if he wasn't sleeping at the fire station, he'd have to sleep at the photo booth.
Yep, which is exactly where he goes.
When he shows up, Wallace sees him go in, and he realizes
I can fuck with him.
He must think that she's with me.
Yep.
He's still so downtrodden. It must mean
she's here.
Let's have some fun with this. Yep. He gets every carny in on this.
Everybody. They like
this is so fucked
speakers
up.
He's apparently
he basically just does a giant shadow puppet trick
in his trailer
to make it look like
it's all shaking and shit. They got like
he's getting wild with Vida,
music
right?
Going and stuff.
All the carnies are like cheering him on. And this plan would have been absolutely fine. Like to a normal Wilder, right? Like the actual downtrodden, beaten up Wilder that walked into that booth. This would have been a fine prank. Would not have backfired on him.
Nope.
But
this is
those notes were in there. He read them, and it was Vida giving him a call to arms.
Right.
Come get me.
Come get me.
The only problem, the most important part of the letter was gone.
It was stuck to his shoe.
It was the one that said, I'm at the firehouse. So as far as he knows, she left him a note that was a call to arms.
Come get me
And then she went to Wallace.
Yep.
She was saying, man up to your brother or you don't deserve me. That's what he thought.
Yep. That's what he does, to his credit. He goes out there, he's just like, I'm gonna fight for you, baby, and starts throwing some fucking fire around.
And Wallace is
a little surprised.
Totally surprised.
But so down.
Oh, he's
like,
ready.
Oh, let's do this, finally. This is a good fight, dude.
Well, it's about to be
burn down.
This is full on war.
Yeah, this is our big action ender. Like we burn everything in this.
He just keeps screaming over and over and over again. Wilder screams at Napalm. Sorry, I guess we can call him Napalm.
Yeah,
now.
we can call him Dr. Napalm. Now.
They're both fighting. He's not. Well, we know his suit's on. We do.
Yeah,
we don't see it yet. It'll happen soon enough. But yeah, at this point, though, it is totally just Wilder blowing things up and then asking where Vida is, right? And every time Wallace and Geb smart ass, and every time there's a new smart ass,
she's off getting more condoms. Where do you think she's
at the hospital? She's delivering my baby already, right? Like just constantly.
She's at the pharmacist. She's getting ointment for chafed thighs. I like that
dude,
one.
so much stuff. It was so good.
Something else.
Yeah, blows up another thing. Just like you can call my bluff. I'll keep
destroying your carnival, motherfucker,
all night long. And Wallace blows up his photo booth in retaliation. Ooh.
So then Wilder blows up his fucking truck.
Yep.
Then it turns into like a fist fight,
then Wallace comes clean.
She's not here.
Yeah, he comes clean that Vida's not there. And that she never had been. Like, he makes sure at this point that if they're going to have this fight, that it's going to be for what they really should be fighting about, right?
Which is you and your bullshit.
The television. He calls him.
Making me feel like I'm worthless when I should have been famous years ago.
Well, I was about to say, literally, the second Wilder hears that Vida is no longer part of the argument, he instantly brings up the television, right? Like, instant. Like, I mean, it's literally seconds. It's like, Vida's not here.
It's like, okay, we're not fighting about that.
Television.
This is what we'll fight about then. We're going to fight regardless. We just need a reason.
But again, that's what Wallace wanted.
He was begging for it.
Well, Wallace, that's why he made sure that Wilder knew the truth. He didn't want this to be impassioned fight that wasn't actually about. He was like, no, let this be about the real shit.
This is about you, me, and our childhood fucking trauma that we're going to deal with right goddamn now.
And then at this point, it's super crazy because at this point, Wilder still believes Vida was in the trailer, right? Like he at no point could she have gone anywhere else.
Yep, she should have still been in there.
And Wallace is now hiding in the trailer. And Wilder throws one of his fireballs at the trailer.
If your wife's in there, why would you do that?
That seems very dangerous.
Right?
We've already seen a stray fireball blow up a trailer.
Yeah, your own trailer. This is exactly what happened.
So it was probably not the best idea.
No, probably not.
All the carnies are starting to get real upset, right?
Wow, it's their livelihood burning.
Well, not just that. Their other moneymaker
and their meal ticket
is also getting beat up. Yeah, they're not having a good time at all. Then the trailer goes up, right? Like Wilder goes in, and they start duking it out
having
inside,
like a fight and shit.
And the trailer
explodes right about the time the fire department shows up and shit.
And Vida, she sees it. She's like, dead. No. We see this triumphant moment. Someone stumbles out in the suit, because he had even showed it, right? He said he did patent pending. The Dr. Napalm assistant suit. Yeah, so we see it, but we can't tell at first who's in it. Right. We see through the little window.
It's Wilder.
We even at that moment see this moment that we get this music, right? The triumphant song
music.
Where we see the scene. It's Vida looking at him and he's looking at Vida. You're literally just like, movie's done.
Run up.
Well, you're like, movie's over. It's done.
We're done.
Credits are about to roll.
He killed his brother. We're done.
Fuck no.
No, he comes out and now he's got the Dr. Napalm
now he
suit
is
on.
super villain.
He is super
He
villain.
is fully snapped.
It's awesome.
He's on fire. He even says flame on.
So good. Love everything about it.
I got the feels so much whenever that happened. Because he was on fire and he snapped the fire off. And then when he was ready to fight again, he's like, flame on.
Flame on. It came back. Yeah.
Oh my God. But yeah, so at this point though, what ran through my head was Wilder is about to get found out. Right? Think about this. So far, nobody knows
except the carnies and shit.
The carnies and his wife. Nobody else knows he's got this power. Now his friends are there.
Yep.
They're all there.
Sheriff's there.
She's got to show up and he's like, get my hand free so he can blast. Now that's the only one he does though. I made sure to pay attention. That is the only one he does when the crowd's there, and he does it at a point where most of them wouldn't have been paying attention.
So he still could argue.
Nobody knows that he's got the power too.
Yep.
Because what happens after that is he stands up. We can see at this point, despite the fact that it makes no goddamn sense, him and Vida seem to be okay with each other.
Yeah, they're fine now.
In the middle of this fight.
I guess almost dying.
And so he then starts fucking with Wallace, right? Yeah. Because Wallace fucked up. Wallace told him the one thing that pisses him off the most is this attitude of not fucking caring, right?
So he just starts not caring.
So he starts not caring.
I'm going to go ride the tilt-a-whirl with my wife.
Me and Vida, we've made up and we're gonna go ride the tilt-a-whirl. the teacups. He blows them up. It's exactly like earlier, right? It's just like a repeat, but from the other side. Of you do something, I'm gonna blow something up.
Yep.
You do something, I'm gonna blow something up.
But I just made you destroy all of your own toys.
All of your buddies' things are gone, which means they're probably not on your side.
Yep.
Wilder is just proving that Wallace is too hot-headed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hot-headed.
You like it?
You like it?
That was good.
And he starts again. He's flamed on again. He's fully battle moded out. Right, ready to fucking rage. He's getting ready to go off on Wilder. What happens? Vida in to save the day.
Hits him with the fire hose on the back of the truck.
Water cannon. Yeah, it's the full
sends
cannon.
Him rolling back. I guess apparently if you're wet, the power doesn't work.
Let's save that for just a second. But yeah, I will address that in a moment. Before we see the part where he plays with his
trying to get it back.
Fire, though. Before we get there, we do get one absolutely crazy line with her and Rex. With Vida and Rex. She sprays him with the water. She runs up and she's like, all right, whose is bigger? Right? And Rex is like, near as I can tell, Biff.
Don't ask me how I know that.
It was so weird. It was just like, all right, dude.
All right, man. I mean,
way to say your buddy's got bigger junk than someone?
Don't want to know how you know that.
Yeah, then that's the part where we see he's trying to get his fire working and it doesn't work.
He's like rubbing his hands and shit.
We know it's not an implication that it's permanently gone. We hear in just a moment he finally...
Just apparently when you're wet, it don't work.
But how would he not know that by the point that they're 32 years old?
Yeah, you'd think he went swimming or took a shower or something.
At some point, been like,
I can't.
Thinking he was going to be funny.
There's a spider in my shower.
And then couldn't do it.
Oh, it doesn't work.
It seems weird that that's the first time he's ever been in the situation to know.
Because he seemed really panicked about it.
Right?
Like, oh my God, it won't work.
They all three get arrested.
I liked this. They just
Have you noticed every time there's a fire involved, they put handcuffs on Vida, even though it doesn't make sense? Like the house, she definitely wasn't the one who set the house on fire.
Immediately, as soon as she came out.
Right here, she rode in with
the
them.
Fire department. There's no reason to arrest her.
Why is it just there are flames and they're like, Vida, you gotta come.
Because she's the resident fucking pyro with a record for arson.
But so... Well, we're just going to get our nice little happy roundup here. Yeah, I kind of don't agree with part of, which is for some reason, Vida and Wilder have the smiley face heart if infinity sign ending here. Yeah. You know, like they're going to be love and happiness forever.
Yep. All good.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I don't either.
Their relationship took a lot of hits.
I don't think that it should just
should be...
She got away with all this. No consequences.
This should have ended a lot more the way High Fidelity did.
Yeah.
Right? It should end on an ambiguous, like they're together, but we don't know.
But
they imply that they're together and it's great.
Happily ever after.
Right?
Right.
Wallace is on Letterman.
Yeah, he's on Letterman.
Wilder is on house arrest?
For burning down
Did he take down the blame? Well, they both did because we hear Wallace say he's also.
Oh yeah, he's also
saying
on house arrest.
He only gets let out to do the children's
shows.
So he is now he's made his redemption arc.
Yep, there
you go. He's now a superhero.
He's now a babyface.
Still using napalm because they still call him Dr. Napalm. So he's totally flipped the name.
Really,
Dr. Napalm is now a superhero.
Hell yeah.
And as I mentioned earlier, this is our first time and only time in the entire movie where we see Vida not in a green outfit. Now is when I'll give you guys the insight. She was the source of their jealousy.
You know, green with envy.
So that's why, and now she's no longer that.
So she's not the object of jealousy.
So she doesn't have to be green.
Have to be green.
It's kind of dumb.
Kind of dumb.
Cool.
Kind of cool.
Yeah, I like it.
Column A, column B. Take your pick.
Yeah. But that is definitely that's our movie. Everything's wrapped up. Yep. The two of them are gonna live happily ever after. And they're small.
And Dr. Napalm is rich and famous now.
Oh, but they do still hang out on their roof because that's where we saw them. But they don't live in the trailer. Obviously, their trailer burned out.
Yeah, they got like a nice.
Now
house.
They live in this nice house. Why were they in the trailer? Did Dr. Napalm hook him up with some cash?
Did. I guess he bought.
That was my note. Was
he bought him a new house. He felt bad.
He had to have, right?
He felt bad
because he burned down our last.
Burned down the old one.
And then as we're panning out, credits about to roll. We get a scene. We get to see the fire pole. He even put a nice fire pole so that when the alarm goes off, he doesn't get paged anymore. He doesn't need a phone call. He's got his own alarm.
alarm.
He knows.
Thing. It just goes
so
off.
It starts going off, and you're like, "Oh, we're about to see him run out the house." Nope. This is just an announcement for one more song from our fire department.
One more, guys. Let's hear it.
This was Heat Wave.
Heat Wave.
Heat Wave. Again, all of these are so great. Everyone they hit them. Now's when I'll tell you guys. Credits are rolling. The Mighty Echoes.
The Mighty Echoes.
This is when we as viewers also got to find out too.
Who these guys were.
You get to find out right now because it's literally as soon as the credits start, they make sure these guys get a good thanks the Mighty Echoes.
It was fantastic.
Again, this is also the point where I'll point out. This is when I will point out that the name of the movie, Wilder Napalm. If all along you've been struggling, like you get the Wilder, you get the. It's a dumb play because he is the brother of Dr. Napalm. So at least to Vida and his friends, he is Wilder Napalm.
Get it? Ha ha.
Don't get me wrong, I understand. It took all movie for us to get to a rationalization of why the movie is called that. Hell, it took 20 minutes for you to know why Wilder is in the movie.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, guys, that's it. We had a great time. You know how these go when we do booze. We don't give. I don't know what else we need to say that we didn't say in the beginning. Yeah, it's cinnamon whiskey, cinnamon. And it's way more candy cinnamon than cinnamon, and it's way more that than whiskey.
Yep.
Not much else to say.
I won't tell you to go try it. You've had it.
Almost all of you have for sure. Like, I mean, it's just one of those kind of drinks anymore. But yeah, we don't got to say anything else about that. Obviously, you heard us. I've loved this movie for a long time. I've made a convert out of Bo.
It's my new favorite.
He likes
my new favorites. I love.
He told me
like this.
He loved Firestarter, and then he was like, I don't know, I might like this one better.
Yeah, this one
because again, this one's got such a funny tone to it,
like
funny
the
aspect. Yeah, and it's so good. They make reference to it.
Yeah, they referenced Firestarter. I laughed so hard. I was like, oh my god.
All right. All that's left now is Bo. What are we gonna drink next week?
All right. Next time we're not really gonna do the game next time. We've got coming up Proper Brewing Company's SLC Pills.
That's right, guys.
We got a good reason for not doing the game.
We are doing a follow-up. It's our first ever true follow-up, right? Like we've done some things that are kind of interconnected.
Yeah, kind of connected.
This is like a true we're telling you this is us doing a sequel.
Yeah.
This is us we're going to do SLC Punk 2. Obviously, SLC Pills.
Yep.
When you see the picture of the can, you'll know even more. But yeah, this is SLC Punk 2.
We're going to hit the sequel, buddy.
That's right. We love James Marandino.
He's great.
We're going to give his second outing a shot, talk to you guys about it. We are doing this now for very timely reasons. May, that is just closed out for everybody listening right now, was the 25th anniversary of the first movie, releasing to normal theaters. Again, you guys might remember we mentioned when we did it before, we happened to by chance hit when it was in Sundance
and shit.
So we are for June now doing the second one because it also now kicks off 10 years since he wrapped filming the second movie. We're ending one anniversary and helping him kick off the second
another one.
That's
right.
So
everybody go out, watch the movie. It's free on Tubi and shit.
Yeah, exactly. And don't worry, we're not trying to take money away from him. He also fully supports you watching it on Tubi.
Follow him on Facebook. They have a
Instagram. He's got SLC Punk 2 is the page, but James Marandino runs the page.
Yeah, so go ahead and give them a follow and all, and tell them KFC Critics sent you.
All right. On that note, though, we're done.
All right, man, let's go burn some shit.